And the pot calls the kettle black, calls the kettle burnt, calls her mad. Kettle reminds the pot that we both been burned on the same stove, that the parts of our bodies that are layered in soot were scorched by the same hands. Kettle tells pot that she still boils water, holds the hot breath of a white man's tongue, endures the slow simmer of a white woman's allyship, and still we make something beautiful. Pot calls the kettle wicked, and kettle says no, but says she's so magical she burned the hand of the last man who tried to pour himself a piece of her. Says she's so black she is everything, so black she is the beginning. She is the first thing someone finds home in when they wake up in the morning. Says ain't that what it means to be black? To have the world go up in flames around you and still be sanctuary for someone, saving men who lost themselves the night before, saving men who curse our names but forget his mama is made of steel too. And now the pot has no words, but calls the kettle bitter, but loves the glass pan, the fine china, loves all the exotic shit white men put behind glass casings, loves how fragile things not made of steel can be. But this isn't about the pot or the pan. This is about the kettle, the black woman, how she pours herself across the earth, but no one bats an eye when the water disappears. We give ourselves to men who never love us, but they say we are difficult, too hard to break. How we, the kettle, praise this pot, this man for all the water he holds. How we are the only ones who do not call him monster when the water boils over, because we know this heat, this white flame, hot enough to make any of us explode. We are the first ones to make noise when the world goes up in flames, but they say the earth was saved by the man who heard her scream. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says yes, but says you best remember you black too. The next time they bring a fire to your neck, they burn black bodies on the stake and the stove. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says bitch I might be, says nuck if you buck, then says wipe me down. Kettle says yes my nigga, I be black, I be mad, and I boiled the last man down to his bones when he tried to test me. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says hell yes, but don't say my name as if you ain't ever been burnt too.
All right, microphone check 1, 2. We're gonna get this party started. Let's listen to see what OK
What
has.
is a high value man? Glad you asked. Let's define. My name is Kevin Samuels. I'm a professional men's and corporate image consultant. My job is to make sure my clients look good, smell great, and are the best version of themselves each and every day.
Okay, we'll see about this.
But who are we kidding? The reason you're here right now is because the term high value man seems to be everywhere. Full disclosure, I didn't create the term, guys. High value man has been with us for a long time. I have just put my own unique spin on it and kind of popularized it, and it has kind of gone viral. But here's the thing. So many people are talking about high value this, high value that. And many times they're actually talking about me and saying as though, well, Kevin said this or Kevin said that. And many people are getting it 100% wrong. So in an attempt to make sense of all this, I want to give you guys the simple 6 basic principles that I define as being high value. Now, again, you don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying a high value man. So,
Okay, let's see what you're gonna say, Kevin. Come on, break it down.
your mileage may vary, your opinion is your opinion, but when I'm talking about it, this is what I'm talking about. So let's get it started. First of all, let's go over some basic definitions. High, great, greater than normal in quantity, size, or intensity. Value, the regard of something held to deserve the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. And man, an adult human male. So when you put all that together, what do you have? An adult human male that's greater than normal importance or usefulness to what? The group. Basic economic principle states that the value of something is what a market is willing to pay for it.
That's very interesting how he puts it in a more of a shallow numeric market value thing instead of really what is emotionally and morally valuable. Let's keep it going.
The value is determined by what? The market. And when we're talking about individuals, the market is other people, men or women. So a high value
So the thing is this is that here's where the argument starts up. Welcome, Miss RV. Um, he is in a, and he knows this. The manosphere is about dating women. Technically, technically dating women, not dating men and women. So why would a man want to get advice from other men on what's attractive? Let me keep it going.
man is completely determined by the market. Case in point, you can have a vehicle, a home, anything in your possession. You can hold it dear. It could be supremely important to you. But when you put it on the market decides. And there's an upper limit and a lower limit. It doesn't really matter if you think the low is too low or the high is not high enough. That's what the market is willing to pay for it. And that is its overall value. That has been with us forever. So when we start talking about that,
So the first flaw I see in this theory that he has for him, because he made it clear this is just how he does it, is that he brings men into evaluating what's high value, which, fine. If you date men too, that's fine. But remember now, manosphere is about relationships between men and women. Overall, that's basically what it is about. Now you have the peripheral things of building yourself up and making yourself a better person, man. At least that's what they say. That's not what they do. But basically, that theoretically, that's what they're saying. So that's where the first flaw is. It's like, why are men even in the evaluation process?
dealing with people, it really throws people off because it seems so cold, so calculated. But like it or not, that's the way the world is. So let's get into this whole high value man thing. Number one, in order to be a high value man, it starts with money. Again, like it or not, I didn't put the six-figure thing out there. It's been with us since the mid 80s. And like it or
So
not,
10K per month in Atlanta. So he was making 9,000 less than that. At least that's what the court records say. $900 a month, $900 a month. So he's 1/10 right now. His value at the time, not the time of making this video, because I think he had more money than that for sure. But let's say at the age of, let's say, per se, Russell Wilson, he was 1/10 of this value, this high value number that is the minimum, by the way. It's 10K a month. Pax, welcome. It's good seeing you, Pax. You can't get ladies in the house. Miss RV is in the house. Let's keep it going.
that's where this whole thing starts. You can't be high value and homeless. So you have to make a certain amount of money. And the line is roughly at $10,000 a month adjusted for Atlanta dollars. If you live in San Francisco, LA, New York City, where the cost of living is higher than 100%, you need to adjust it. So $10,000 a month gets the starting point off for high value. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just giving you what the world gave me. Number two, that money needs to be made over a length of time, i.e., performance. And that's roughly about 5 years. And about the 3 year mark.
Okay, so number two, Kevin made his money in the last couple of years. He didn't make it to the 3 to 5 year limit. He didn't make it. He wasn't high value then. Let's keep it going.
Kind of starting to scratch the surface. Why does it need to be 5 years? Well, because guys, it's a matter of consistency and stability. Look in the NFL, the NBA, anybody can have a great season, but having a great season does not automatically mean you're going to the Hall of Fame. They want to see consistent numbers over a period of time.
Well, look at this. I mean, Russell Wilson had what, at least 10 great seasons, but everybody's still calling him a simp. Multi-million dollars. And they're calling him simp. Huh. Interesting. And remember now, I'm only going by what Kevin is saying right now. Let's keep it going.
You know how this works, just like I do in business. You can't be a one hit wonder or have up here and down there. Consistency, performance over a length of time. That's why that 5 year mark is so important. Like I said, around 3 years, you're starting to scratch the surface, but at
But you
5
could argue that he was a one-hit wonder, but
years,
let's keep
people
it
can
going.
pretty much count on you to say, this person understands and knows how to get it done. Number three is group acceptance. Like it or not, guys, high value man is like a fraternity. It's like a club, a secret society. And high value men know other high value men. They welcome him into the group. They know what it takes to be there. They know what it takes to
That can be debated, but let's keep listening.
get in there.
Hey, wasn't Russell Wilson that the man that Kevin called a simp? I mean, he's in the groups of men that he's accepted in, very high value groups, by the way. Politicians, city people who run the city, people who run hospitals. He's in that scene. So what's the deal of calling him a simp then?
And high value men, group acceptance is supremely important. Guys, secret societies, fraternities, organizations have always been with us. And you know how this just works in just general interaction. Guys that just make their own secret society or club.
Gangs are groups, right? Is that high value? Gangs, is that high value? So the group thing is kind of like it holds a little weight, but the way he's saying it, he's leaving out a couple things of the negative aspects of groups.
But it doesn't matter as much as somebody says that group is important.
Cyber's in the house. Cyber, good seeing your cyber dreams.
Guys, this is about separation. High value men tend to huddle around other high value men for reasons I'm going to go into a little bit later. But
Yeah,
group
quite honestly, most high value men don't. They don't huddle around other high value men. Um, in the high value men I knew, they were a lot of them were they were introverts, or they might have been even shy, or they might just be too busy to be around, just hanging out with the guys. So I understand this. Remember now, this is what Kevin is saying as high value men.
acceptance is another critical component of being a high value man. Why is group acceptance so important? Because the next part, a network. You have to have a network of other high value men and others. This is another stumbling block for a lot of
Okay,
guys.
that's interesting because there are some high value men. Look at Keanu Reeves. He's a solo guy. He's damn high value, but he's not networking or hanging out with other guys that much. He's likes to be. He likes his space. There ain't nothing wrong with that. So let's keep it going. And I think Keanu Reeves. I think he's been more high value than Kevin has for a very, very long time, like 25 years. Let me keep it going.
For a lot of people because they may have the money, even the length of time. They may look like they fit the group, but if they don't even have any other high value contacts or network, a group of others, that person is going to be looked at with a side eye. Think of it like this: if you're sitting at the table with 10 high value men, and each of these 10 men has 50 contacts, that's 500 contacts. And you sit at the table and you have twice as much money as any other man on there, but you have zero contacts. What can you effectively get done other than throw money at it? These other men can make phone calls, exert influence, move things to get things done. And you can only do what? You can only do what? Offer money and potentially feed off that network of contact. One thing high value men know and understand, that time is what's important. And building a network that actually works for you is
Notice how he says it's his own opinion, but what he's making it seem like this is what other high value men think. But this is his opinion. Remember now, that's what he said, not me.
extremely important. In some areas, it's called a book of business. A book of business can make you successful here, here, and here. Your contacts, your network is your net worth. You've heard this before. So you cannot underestimate how important having a network of high value men and other people is to your status as a high value man.
No, that's kind of where I definitely disagree because I've seen a lot of men run solo that are extremely high value, that are extremely respected. They just don't hang around with other guys, high or low value.
After the network, we got to have the visibility. Guys,
No, now he really lost me. No. Most super high value men per se, or wealthy men per se, like to keep it on the under. You wouldn't even know you wouldn't even know them. They wear casual clothes. They don't gleam or gloss or anything like that. So this is where I part ways.
Income and your position has to be LinkedIn level. Think of it like this. This person says they're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. This person is head of thoracic surgery at Johns Hopkins. This person is VP of Mergers and Acquisitions at Bank of America. And then someone says, "Hi, I'm an entrepreneur." Three of those four people, at a glance, we can pretty much estimate who they are,
All right, M Mills is in the house. Welcome, M Mills.
what they do, and their relative importance in the overall socioeconomic structure. The fourth person, more information is needed. There's not enough visibility, not enough.
Okay, that's enough. I think I've found out enough of that. I mean, basically, we're talking about a gentleman who was making $900 a month. So that's interesting. Let's see what a woman's point of view of what they want in a man. But remember now, you can be as high value as you want to be, but if a woman is not attracted to you, or you have other defects in your personality that make you not attractive to them, then you're not. Because remember now, even Kevin said, a high value man is valuable to both men and women. And I disagreed and said, really, it should be more women because he's in the dating realm. I mean, who cares what man with money or with wealth really cares what other men think, or should really care what other men think? If you're doing fine, you have your close, section of friends and a lovely woman to spend time with. That's what it's all about. But he wants to make it sound like it's more of you have to have a clique. That's what we called it back in the day in school. Let's listen to what he's got to say.
To be a high value man, it needs to be at a glance. Again, your position and your income.
Okay, I'm going to go past him. Let's see what this young lady has to say. Break it down.
What do you think women want in men?
Exactly the opposite of what they're saying they want right now. Honestly, there seems to be a culture of women saying, you know, I want this absolutely perfect Prince Charming who dotes on me all the time and is super emotional and is constantly updating me on his feelings. And then they show their boyfriend and it's like this masculine provider, protector who is, you know, constantly there for you but handles problems. So I think that's what women actually want and what they gravitate towards, but what comes out of the mouth can be a little different. I think men, I don't know if you've noticed, but they're a lot more feminine these days, at least here in LA where I live, a lot of very feminine men. But I think women typically look for an amount of masculinity that usurps their own. So whatever that might be for you.
We're talking a lot for 5 minutes.
All right. So basically, that's interesting. Basically, to me, though, it sounded like she was using a lot of. Well, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
What is your definition of a high value man?
It doesn't matter. That's not what I was talking about in this.
Just say, what is a high value man? It's the first part of the tweet. What does that mean?
You tell me what a high value man is. Stubborn and walk back from it because the point of it was to get douche nozzles like yourself to have this conversation in the first place.
Today, I'm going to tell you exactly, unambiguously, what a high value man is. There seems to be a lot of confusion around the topic.
But I'm seeing here that everyone here kind of has a different interpretation.
Wait, that's not true. All four of us probably roughly agree on what makes you high value.
No, we don't. I don't
having like some amount of like physical fitness, having some amount of like social status, having some amount of financial success, and having some level of success with your family and friends. We all roughly agree on that, right?
Okay.
If you have those four things in check, you're probably a high value man.
No.
What is a high value man?
What's a high value man to you?
Bill Gates, is he high value? He fails in every other metric.
Facts.
This is what people don't understand. I think
Wait, that's funny coming from a guy who's accused of this is funny coming from a guy who is accused of trafficking, which tells you right there, then and there, how the moral compass in the manosphere is bent out of shape and damaged. Let's keep it going.
in every other metric.
Facts.
This is
I mean, you would think a criminal would be put at the bottom of a high value metric, as they want to call it. So why is he even being interviewed? This is a very important question I'm asking. How did he even get in the high value conversation?
People don't understand.
I think like I'm a pretty like high value man, like a good.
No. As you can see, no one really seems to have a clear handle on what exactly a high value man is, but by the end of this video, I will change that. I'm gonna break down exactly what a high value man is and how you can actually become one. The real truth behind what makes a high value man is probably not what you think.
Let's find out. Now, if he wants to be the expert at it, we gotta get picky. I think he could be slightly better groomed. He's definitely healthy. You know, he seems to have some energy to him. So let's keep it going though.
Change that. I'm gonna break down exactly what a high value man is and how you can actually become one. The real truth behind what makes a high value man is probably not what you think.
Again, I like to remind you the high value man theory didn't come from a woman. But they're trying, remember now, the manosphere is about interacting and dating with women. But it's like they didn't even give the women any say.
Most people think that what makes a high value man are the things he has. The common conception of a high value man is probably a man who has lots of money, has access to many women, and has a high degree of physical prowess.
Access to many women? See, this is what they're doing. Welcome, Darnell. He's literally talking about himself. Why is it every time when these guys talk about high value men, they're basically trying to talk about themselves? Let's listen again.
Common conception of a high value man is probably a man who has lots of money, has access to many women, and has a high degree.
No, okay. My bad. Actually, he's saying misconception. Let's keep it going.
Of physical prowess. Money, muscles, and game, as some people call it. This definition seems to make sense. I mean, a man who is high value is a man who is valued in society, and is usually a man who has risen up in the social hierarchy. But does it really make sense to define a high value man solely by external factors which could change and vary from culture to culture?
That is very true. Good point. Let me drop the link just in case somebody want to come up.
I'm more concerned with defining what makes a universally high value man. A man who is high value no matter where he goes or what the circumstances of his life happen to be. I would argue that the things society usually considers hallmarks of a high value man, such as women, status, and money, are not actually what makes a man high value, but instead are often the results of being a high value man. So then, what actually does make a high value man? I'll start off with a simple definition of what makes a high value man. A high value man is a man who creates value for others wherever he is in whatever context he is in. This definition aligns more closely with how Jack Donovan described what it is to be a man in his book, The Way of Men. Simply put, being a high value man is not having a lot of money. It's not having a hot wife or girlfriend or having success with a lot of women. It's not being ripped or being jacked. It's not other people's opinion of you, although that does play a part. Being a high value man is being a man who creates value for other people wherever he goes. Money, women, status, and physical attractiveness can all be taken away from you. Those things can also be given to you.
Okay, I kind of have half and half. I kind of agree with what he's saying. You're basically, especially for women, a man is supposed to bring a woman up. I think we can safely say as Andrew Tate was not bringing women up. He was bashing them down, if anything.
Therefore, those things themselves cannot make a man high value. Instead, what cannot be taken from you and what truly must be built to become a man of high value is your character or who you are.
Okay, we're getting closer now. We're getting very close now. This is where I agree with this.
A high value man is always high value, no matter his present circumstances, because he creates value. Remember
no, if your circumstances that you super broke and you ain't got no money, I would say that I understand what he's saying, but there's going to be a certain limit to that. There's going to be a certain baseline. Like you can be high value maybe at $50K per year because you have all this extreme potential and it's showing that you're going to be making more money. It's not like nobody's wishing you. You already got things going on. You're a starting attorney or a starting doctor or something, and your things are starting to pop. You could see it. But still, then it's best if you don't call yourself a high value man until at least the proof is in the pudding.
What you are afraid of losing is not yours. Marcus Aurelius. The biggest problem with most of being a high value man, but not the actual things that cause a man to become high value. Would we consider a trust fund baby who was genetically gifted with perfectly chiseled features, who lacked any degree of emotional intelligence, was weak, and had no discipline or self-control to actually be a man of high value?
No, not at all. I agree.
Society might be initially fooled into believing this man was high value, but would he actually be high value? Perhaps he would initially be desired by men and women alike, but when they actually knew him, would they think of him as adding to their lives in any way? Would they consider him high value?
Right. See, the thing is that, and a lot of men in the manosphere obviously miss, is that women want to be treated well, not necessarily financially, but just emotionally. And if you're going to be calling them everything you call them, right? If you're going to be calling them everything you call them, then what value are you to either that particular woman or a group of women? You're no value. There's no value in you except for whatever financially you can do for them. I think a lot of guys miss that. They miss the soul part. They miss the soul part of the relationship, of the situation, of themselves, that their personality, your personality and soul have a great deal to do with how well you do, how well you are regarded. Are you honest? Are you loyal? I mean, let's face it. The Kevin Samuels theory of high value man had nothing to do with whether you were loyal or not. In fact, he didn't think it should be a factor at all, because he said that, a high value man should have options. So, but and there are a lot of women who will settle for that. They're mostly IG model types. Okay, they'll settle for that. But there's a lot of women with high value women who don't want to deal with that. They want a man to be for them, not for them and everybody else. Welcome to the stage, Darnell. How you doing tonight?
I'm all right, DJ Torch. How about yourself, sir?
Doing good. Just chilling like a villain.
I hear that.
So what are your thoughts so far?
May I be honest with you, sir?
Sure can.
I do disagree with you. My opinion of a high value man is simply put just a man that's in demand. A man that a woman wants.
Okay.
It's not necessarily that he has to sleep with, hundreds of women or anything like that. It's just he's just in demand. Like, women want this guy.
Okay. So you're saying a woman wants the guy, not necessarily needs that particular guy, but wants him. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So there's no value in a person's, because a lot of guys, you're right. Andrew Tate was wanted, and you stated that he's a high value guy, but I think if you look at his track record, if you start using different metrics, he doesn't really fall in there. I mean, how can we even call a guy who was accused of abuse, and the criminality and everything that went on with him? How can he be seen by a woman who is sane as high value?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't really think Andrew Tate was a rapist. I don't think he was a rapist. My opinion, he is a trafficker. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm sorry, but based on his own words, he's a trafficker.
Okay.
Unfortunately. But the thing is, why is it that women seem to clamor to him? Like, that's the part I don't understand, and that's what, in my opinion, that makes him.
Where's the proof that they're clamoring to him?
Well, just the fact that he's able to get these women to do his bidding for him, on what is it, Live Jasmine or whatever that webcam service is.
Okay, so, but basically, couldn't that just be somebody who is manipulative?
I mean, he's definitely manipulative. I mean, no arguments from me there.
Okay. That's a good point. Can manipulation be a part of being high value because you can make people do what you want them to do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So you could see that as being high value, even though really morally it's not. Wouldn't you agree?
Morally, it's wrong. What he did morally was wrong. But unfortunately,
let's thin it out. Just the manipulation part by itself. I mean, if a person manipulates other people, in an insidious way, but he's getting what he wants from them, either by tricking them, fooling them, whatever you want to call manipulation, and he's able to manipulate even desire. In the overall scheme of things, would that quality or lack thereof be seen as high value?
Well, the thing is, a lot of the victims, they sought him out. Like, he wasn't really looking for them. They came to him. That's the problem.
Okay, when they say they came to him, where was the evidence? Where did you see this happening?
There was actually there's a few videos where one of the accusers, the American accuser against Andrew Tate, she, flew to Romania on her own accord, trying to seek him out.
Okay, but couldn't that have been part of the manipulation? Because I assume that she never seen him before until she flew over there, right?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know, but it's just the fact that you're willing to fly to a foreign country, meet some guy you don't know or barely know, simply because he has a Bugatti,
Yeah, that's true. But you just made a good point. So would you say she liked the real person, or, think about it like this. You saw how things ended up with her, correct?
Yes.
Did she like him or his persona?
I think he was selling her a dream.
Okay. Like to welcome Bridget to the house and Miss RV to the house. Cyber Dreams in the house. Darnell is, of course, in the house. Mills is in the house. You Can't Get Laid is in the house. I see your point. As if you look at things on the surface, I could see him being seen as a high value man. But if you're digging deeper and you're looking for a relationship where you aren't going to be torn down or destroyed, like I assume this woman who flew to him was destroyed, right? You have to look for more than just what she saw on the surface. Does that make sense?
It does. But the thing is, like I said, you take an average guy like a plumber, an electrician, or I don't know, a welder, you know, and you wouldn't have her flying out to go meet a guy like that. That's, you know, an average guy, you know, hardworking average guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, I agree. But at the same time, the guys that you mentioned that might have a good heart, might be caring, loving, you know, consistent, loyal. See, the problem that I find is that there's nothing wrong with a bus driver. The problem is that usually those people who might deem themselves to be a bus driver, they have other personality issues or weaknesses that bump them off of a woman's list. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, I do. To be honest with you, I'm one of those type of men, to be honest with you. So I understand exactly what
you're one of those men at the moment. If you keep building and working, you won't be. I can give you that. I can say that much.
Well, I mean, I've been building for years. Unfortunately, like I said, you have to understand, I'm not, well, I don't want to make the show about myself, but unfortunately, I'm not a high value dude. That's just the way it is.
Believe it or not, Darnell, it's nice to hear some honesty. And you may one day be, you just don't know. You might just come up with something, but at least you're honest. 99% of the men in the manosphere would not have admitted it like you did.
Well, I mean, my opinion, honesty is key. But I like to, thanks to the manosphere or the red pill, I like to live in reality. And the reality says that, unfortunately, I am just not the kind of guy that women desire. Unfortunately, I'm either placeholder guy or the guy you tend to want to settle for. Unfortunately.
Okay, what aspect of the manosphere did you grab this from? Who told you that?
Well, to be honest with you, you're going to hate me for this.
No, I won't.
But unfortunately, Kevin Samuels was one, fresh and fit. I used to listen to Donovan Sharp, but my opinion, I think I have concerns about Donovan Sharp nowadays. Hell, I have concerns about fresh and fit now too, to be honest with you.
Okay. So what's your goal as far as what is your goal in a relationship?
Well, right now I'm not in a relationship right now, so I don't.
What is your goal if you were in a relationship?
My goal is to build a strong family tree. I know that sounds weird, but what I mean by that.
No, I understand that. Does that have anything to do with treating your woman good, or are you just focused on just the family tree itself?
Well, I mean, of course, it, treating a woman good.
No, it's not.
What do you mean?
Red pill doesn't. Treating a woman good is bad.
No, that's not what the red pill actually says.
It is. That's what they say. That's why they call Russell Wilson a simp.
I think it's for other reasons, but
no. I mean, when you listen to Kevin Samuels, when did he say how many times did you hear him say you need to treat your woman good? You need to treat her like she's a queen. When did you hear her say that? Him say that?
0.
Okay. Let me play a little bit more of this guy right here. Let's see what he says.
Yes.
Instead, I would argue that a man who has character attributes such as strength, courage, mastery, and honor would make a man of considerably higher value, because that man would actually be a benefit to those men and women around him. In 1899, John Walter Wayland wrote this definition of a gentleman, which is what I would consider a high value man today. The true gentleman is the man whose conduct proceeds from goodwill and an acute sense of propriety, whose self-control is equal to all emergencies, who does not make the poor man conscious of his poverty, the obscure man of his obscurity, or any man of his inferiority or deformity, who is himself humbled if necessity compels.
By the way, Trizzle's in the house. Trizzle, Bridget's in the house. Miss RV's in the house.
Him to humble another, who does not flatter wealth, cringe before power, or boasts of his own possessions or achievements, who speaks with frankness, but always with sincerity and sympathy, whose deed follows his word, who thinks of the rights and feelings of others rather than his own, and who appears well in any company, a man with whom honor is sacred and virtue safe. So how do you actually become a high-value man? I'm glad you asked, because that's exactly what this channel is about. I believe it starts with getting rid of the victim mindset and instead taking personal responsibility for your life. If you
stop it right there. Darnell, wouldn't you call a victim, let's go back. What do you call it? A victim mindset. Wouldn't that be some blaming others for your plight?
Yes, sir. I've been guilty of that in the past.
Okay.
If you want me to make a more comprehensive video detailing exactly how you can become a high-value man and get the results of being a high-value man, give this video a like and leave a comment down below. I'll leave you with one last thing, because I agree with what Bedros Keuilian said about being a high-value man. It literally is just being a man.
What would make a high-value man?
I'm going to tell you that I hate that term. You're either a man or you're a man-child, and that's it. If you're a man, you're everything that they describe what a high-value man is. A high-value man is someone who's well-spoken, who's charismatic, who can earn, who can make friends, who can open doors, be a gentleman, but who can also fight and defend your honor. That's just a man. What a man should be. The fact that we're calling it a high-value man is the same reason why toxic masculinity exists. You're either toxic because you're a weak, nice guy, or you're masculine.
Here's a piece I wrote about what it means to be a man today.
All right, let me set that up. In the house, camo, kittens and caskets in the house. Western countries such as the U.S., the least transactional marriages. Women in the U.S. don't have to marry for survival. Stop the BS. Absolutely. I agree. Camo is in the house. Lynette Allen is in the house. Cyber Dreams is in the house. Miss RV is in the house. The Quinto Fox is in the house. We have Trizzle in the house. We have Bridget in the house. We have You Can't Get Laid in the house. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the party rolling.
Being a man today is the same as it's always been. Men are made. Men are not born. To be a man is to live with purpose.
Nubia Gold is in the house.
To be a man is to trust in your own judgment and experience over everything and everyone. It's to accept full responsibility for your life and to choose to reject the victim mindset. To be a man is to feel deeply, but not allow those feelings to control your action. To be a man is to choose your own way.
Jay Brown is in the house.
Be a man is to live by your own principles instead of those dictated to you. To be a man is to take risk, to have courage.
That's kind of fishy. Own principles, but instead of those, you can't live totally on your own principles because you have to earn money. Especially if you are a regular man, you have to learn. I mean, when you go to work, whether you like it or not, you're working under the principles of the employment that you're under. Darnell, what are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts, sir. Matter of fact, I kind of want to show you something here.
Sure.
I had to hire a plumber earlier today. Just paid over $500 for the simple little task. I just want to show you. All he did was stick a coat hanger inside the valve here and replace the handle.
Oh my God. Oh yeah. Okay. Got
it.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
That guy was a high value man, you know, because like I said, I mean, I couldn't take a shower without the guy. I couldn't take a shower. Yeah.
Well, he's a high value, and that's a good point because it shows that he's high value to you. Maybe he's a nobody right after he leaves your door, right? At least until he gets to his next gig. But he was very high value to you in that moment. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Now that was some painful high value.
Painful. he was $500 worth of high value.
Man, I learned as much as I could about doing plumbing stuff. I placed my own water heater and some couple other things, but yeah, I know where you're coming from. So,
I replaced my hot water heater about 2 years ago. I replaced a few angle stops here and there, but I've never had to fix a valve, but I'll be honest with you, I know now.
I bet. Hey, at least you can say you got some training for the 500.
Yep.
Newbies in the house. Let's play a little bit more and then we'll go on to the next video.
To fight when necessary, make peace when possible. To be a man is to reject weakness, but embrace vulnerability.
That is very, very, very vague. That is very vague. But let's see what else he has to say.
A man is to step up, lead, protect, take action, and make decisions. To be a man is to accept the consequences.
This is where it's kind of non-specific what he's talking about. What do you think? Do you think it's specific what he's telling you is helpful, or do you believe he's just kind of like generally saying, be a good guy?
It sounds to me kind of general advice. I'll be honest with you, that is an issue in the red pill or manosphere sphere, what do you call it? Sphere of influence.
Right.
It's a lot of general advice. It's something I don't necessarily agree with. I think they need to go a little more in depth.
True.
Consequences of your actions, good or bad. To be a man is to bring your gift to the world in love, even if the world rejects your gift, even if you're crucified for it. To be a man is to be respected by other men, to have status among your peers, among your tribe. A man is not swept away by emotion. A man has emotional mastery. He feels the emotion but does not let it get a hold of him. A man looks with disdain at handouts and pity. A man only accepts what he has rightfully earned. To be a man is to never be finished, never put the guard down, never drop the gloves, fighting the battle anew each day.
So what are your thoughts about what he just said there?
He's absolutely right. Fighting your battles, not accepting pity, having the victim mind, not taking the victim mindset route. He is right. I mean, like I said, men are looked to, a real man is looked to be a leader.
Cyber Dreams, welcome to the stage.
Hello.
Good seeing you, good hearing you. How you been?
I'm good. I be in the chat just relaxing,
chilling,
frustrated. I just can't with the circle talking. I have to come back. That's my doctor call. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, while she's out, let's play this video right here by T-Salt. T-Salt in the house.
We can look decades back and find the same behavior from Black men. And that is because Black women have been accepting of them no matter what, and not having required much from them, just to say that a Black man chose them. It doesn't matter the income level, and famous people are no different. When Black women become successful or famous, they choose a Black man, and most likely his income is below hers. When a Black man becomes successful or famous, he chooses a white woman. So for a very successful Black woman to find a Black man on her level will be difficult. So what they try to do is build a broke man up to their level. Let him live in their house, buy him nice clothes, so that she can take him to fancy events and show him off to her peers. And while she's busy lifting him up, he's finding ways to bring her down. He's insecure about her success, so he has to humble her, knock her down a notch. and let the public know that he's in control.
Have you ever lost anybody on the show?
Well,
Not showing up at the same time you're supposed to be there.
the drummer, you see, Ike is at the studio all the time,
Right.
and 4 days in a row without coming home, and he keeps usually the bass man and the drummer with him. And the very last day, when it's time to leave, they go home that morning about 5, and they have to leave at 12. Then you can't wake them up. So then we're worried if the drummer's going to get their other bass player. But usually everybody makes it except those two. We managed to get Ike out if we carry him.
How do you manage to relax? You work at such a high energy level. How do you get down from it? Does it take you a while to just
Well,
cool
Ike
off
gets
after a show?
parties.
I know how Ike does it. I just he saves his energy. It's easy for him. That's why he's always up, and you finish, and you're exhausted. Ike hasn't said anything. No, I'm serious.
Well, it's after the show. Ike usually.
Look at that.
He usually has a party afterwards. Now, I don't know.
Knowing what we now know about Ike.
Let me pause it for a second. I mean, if wife beater was a person. Cyber Dreams, you outside, Cyber Dreams?
Yeah, I gotta move to this neighbor with this moped. I'm in front of my parents' house.
I hear that. But so
Give me like 2 minutes and I'll be ready.
Got it. I'm gonna play the rest of this and then we can talk right after it.
Ike and Tina Turner's relationship. I'm sure he didn't let this go unaddressed when they got home. She probably knew at this point what was going to happen, but she kept smiling, even though she knew what was coming later. We all know that Keke Palmer's boyfriend lost his mind after he saw her performance with.
By the way, Nubia Gold, thank you so much for your kind words. Nubia Gold says this channel is such a vibe. I love it. Torch is so unbothered and putting out the fun, positive energy, Black empowerment and kindness. My favorite live streams. Thank you, Nubia. Thank you.
Usher, and how he embarrassed her with his tweets. But these underperforming Black men may look the part, but their underlying insecurities about playing second position to their woman will always be there. This was an interview with Darius on Keke Palmer's show before the Usher incident. He's talking about his insecurities with her fame, but she's not listening.
At first, it definitely was hard because it could all be very overwhelming. It was definitely overwhelming and intense at first, and
It was.
And it's like you almost feel that pressure of needing to just be perfect, and so it really confused me and infiltrated my mind because not only I had to hold myself to that perfect standard, I was also holding you to a perfect standard as well. So any moment of flaw,
This dude comes in with a wife beater, holding her to a perfect standard. That is just crazy to me. One of the most high earning, actresses in Hollywood. That's crazy. But let me go back to Ike real quick because Bridget brought up a good point. Bridget, you were so correct. I'm sure she's talking about Tina Turner. I'm sure she got some bruises that night. Yep. And what's the value in getting bruises? I don't
No
know.
value.
I mean, man.
No, I'm sorry, Torch, but I want to address something that Darnell said.
Oh no, go for it. Go for it.
Like I've been listening for a couple of weeks now from Darnell, and I'm gonna say on behalf of BWE, enough is enough, Darnell. Torch asked you a simple question, and the most simple answer would have been treat a woman good. What's so hard for these men to just say treat a woman good?
Actually, I did say that. DJ
No, you waited until Torch helped you. See, this is the issue that I'm having with a lot of these men. They circle talk so much that it becomes disgusting.
Okay.
It's like you guys don't stand on your own square. You don't have your own mind. You don't have your own beliefs. What's wrong with just treating a woman like you want to be treated? How hard is that for a man to say that out of his mouth?
Actually, I do, ma'am. I really do. But as far as what DJ Torch did ask me, I did answer. I said, yes, a woman should be treated well. He did ask me
The
that
first
question.
thing you said, Darnell, was you're looking for a family tree.
Yes, that's correct. That's what he asked. He asked me a question. What am I looking for? And
In
I
a
said, I'm looking
relationship.
to build a strong family tree.
No, Darnell. See, you guys talk in circles so much, you don't even remember the question first. You don't remember what you say first, okay? He asked you, what are you looking for in a relationship? The first thing that came out of your mouth was a family tree. Now, don't you know children come after the woman? So why is not the woman first?
I disagree with that.
In order for you to have children, you have to be with a woman, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You have to date her. Y'all becomes chemistry, you love on her. Then the children come. The first thing that came out of your mouth, Darnell, was family tree.
Yes, ma'am. And to me, building a stronger family tree, I need to change my family tree because my family tree is screwed up.
Listen, and when I am with a man, I'm with that man when I'm Borgen?
No, you're fine.
Oh. When I'm dating a man, right? I'm not necessarily in the front of my mind thinking about his family. I'm thinking about that man.
Okay.
The issue that I'm having with you men is you don't think about the woman first. It's everything else except the woman. And the woman comes first when you are in a relationship.
Well, to be honest with you, ma'am, I believe my life is forfeit. Once I have children, my life becomes forfeit.
You're missing, it's going over your head, Darnell. In order for you to live happily ever after, you have to be with a human being who comes in a female form. That female, that human in female form, she comes by herself, right? You come by yourself. You guys get to know each other first. Then here comes the children. So when he asks you, what are you looking for in a relationship? You defaulted straight to children.
Correct.
You just miss the woman. She's none and void. She doesn't matter. She's just a baby making. This is what my perception is. Like, oh, she's nothing. I'm gonna just pump in her, get my kids to build my family tree. And that is the mistake that a lot of you men have. You don't see the woman.
Well, you're jumping to conclusions, ma'am. Even I said that my own life becomes forfeit when I have children. Like I said, my priority and focus becomes children.
You see what I'm saying, Torch? They circle talk so much. And enough is enough. See, they circle talk so much that they go to the end of their response and uses their end of their response as the beginning of their response. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, I tell you what. So basically, you don't understand when she's talking about circle talk.
I mean, I know what circle talk means. You're kind of dancing around the subject, kind of thing. But I don't believe I'm circle talking. I've answered her questions honestly and truthfully.
No, I didn't ask you anything, Darnell. I'm taking what you said, I'm analyzing it in my brain. And from my perception, DJ asked you a simple question. He asked you, what are you looking for in a relationship? And the first thing that came out of your mouth, sir, was a family tree. You just voided out the woman. And that's the issue with the manosphere ideology. They void out the woman so much that their relationships, they don't have good relationships. Listen, I'm here for the message. 4.6, 4.6, 4.6. The reality is Black women are being unalived. We're being ostracized. We're being oppressed by people by humans in male form with melanated skin. That is the reality. And for you to say the first thing to come out of your mouth as a human male melanated vessel was a family tree, you just proved to me that your circle talk is just you. You do not care about Black women. And why are you here? Enough is enough, Darnell. I am sick and tired of listening to you. Period.
Don't listen to me, ma'am.
You're in a woman's space, circle talking. Enough is enough.
Well, I disagree, but like I said, as far as women's lives, yes, they are very important. But just FYI, ma'am, you understand Black men are being unalived at a faster rate than Black women.
Right. But okay, good point. I want to bring that up, but that's by Black men.
Correct. It is by Black men.
Okay. Darnell, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Why did you not talk about the woman first? What made you just go to your lineage first instead of how are you going to treat your wife?
Because my lineage is the most important. To be honest with you, DJ Torch, even I said,
there you go.
My own life is forfeit. Once I have children, my own life becomes forfeit.
So what you're saying is this. Let me see if I got this right. I think I got enough information here. What you're saying is that the life of your children is more important than you or your wives, but your wife's life is even less important than yours because you didn't mention her first, even though she's having.
No, I never said her life is less important. All I'm saying is that as parents, our children come first.
So why are you thinking about children at all? Why don't you want your children to be with somebody and you to be with that person for at least the remainder or at least a long stretch of your life?
I'm sorry, you broke up. Can you repeat that? I apologize.
Yeah, okay. Wouldn't you want your children to have the benefit of being with parents that truly love each other for a long time, being with each other for a long time, showing love to each other for a long time first?
I mean, you have a valid point. That is true.
Because Cyber Dream's bringing up a doggone good point. It sounds like what you're saying is that you having kids is more important than the relationship you have with your wife.
I mean, like I said, the thing is, DJ Torch, you got to understand, I'm 36 years old. I'm getting old. Assuming I had a wife, I don't. But if I did have a wife, she's getting old. We're both getting old. Like I said, our lives become kind of set in stone.
Okay. Circle talk. He's circle talking again.
Let me pause everybody for 1 second. Darnell, hold on 1 second.
Yes.
I'd like to shout out for Prism in the house. Like to shout out for Strum in the house. LaQuinto Fox in the house. Camo's in the house. Alexander's in the house. We have Brina in the house. Nubia's in the house. Now, I'm just trying, and sorry to interrupt you, Darnell, but I'm just trying to understand this. You do know, like, the woman is the foundation of your family, right?
Yes.
So wouldn't you want to build your foundation first? Make her super happy, make her super protected, make her super strong for your children, right?
In theory, I would agree with you, DJ Torture. In theory, I agree with you, but unfortunately, in reality, life is not perfect.
Basically, you don't believe it because if you said in theory, what you're saying is that it sounds good, but that you don't agree.
No.
This is why Princella's theory. He's just proven Princella's theory. When men approach, women don't approach men. Men come into our lives. We're minding our business. They come into our lives. He's coming with motivation to please himself. If Darnell asks me out, if Darnell wants to date me, right? He's only dating me so I can have his children to make his lineage great. He's not dating me because he approves of me. He's not dating me because he likes me. He's not dating me because he just want to be around feminine energy. That's not why Darnell is going to come to me. So Priscilla's theory about 41 shades of men is correct.
Who is
wait, Darnell, before you talk.
Yes, sir.
She brought up a very good point, because and it's not, I don't think it's just you, but the reason why you should want to engage in a relationship is not to grow kids. The kids is one of the benefits of being in a loving relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But you're more focused on, if you were dating Cyber Dreams, she would be pissed because at the end of the day, you're more focused on fixing the problems of your lineage than you are making her happy. Do you see where she's coming from?
See, but Torch, I'm gonna come into this already happy.
Right.
My issue with these men there, that they're talking all this stuff about traditional this, high value this, that's all fairy tales. We are all human beings on the earth. In order for you to have non-toxic relationship with other humans, you have to treat people how you want to be treated. That is a saying back, how long is that saying, Torch?
Oh man, long before me too.
Man, long before my great-great-grandmother.
Yeah.
Treat people how you want to be treated.
Yeah,
Period.
I mean, that's about as extremely traditional as it gets right there, by the way, Darnell.
That's simple.
Yep.
I mean, ma'am, I understand. I mean, so if you don't mind me asking, are you, in a relationship, are you looking for kind of the princess treatment, or?
See, I want you to understand, I'm a woman, a black woman.
Okay.
Who's in a relationship. I'm divorced, one child, in shape, attractive, have my own money, right?
Great.
I don't watch TV, Darnell. See, you have to understand, a lot of women who are like me, we're not sitting around watching TV all day.
Neither do I.
So when you say fairy tale, you're basically making a correspondence with TV, fairy tale, and stuff like that. No, I want you to treat me like you want me to treat you. Has nothing to do with fairy tales.
I never said fairy tale. I said.
Come on, see, he circle talks so much. Listen, I can't with Darnell. I'm done with Darnell, Torch. He circle talks so much.
I'm not circle talking at all. I just asked, are you looking for the
prince? Listen, princess treatment comes for TV, Darnell. Period.
Right, it does. Darnell, did you? Okay, Darnell, go ahead and wait. Go ahead, Darnell. Tell me what you mean, and then I'll interject. Go ahead.
No, I was just asking. When she says, "Okay, the woman comes first," it says this and that. Is she looking? Because there are some women out there that want the princess treatment.
No, he can't. He's a man with a man idea, and he has a man's brain. He cannot speak for women. I've been a woman my whole life, Darnell. I don't speak for men. I'm a grown woman, and I've been a woman basically my whole life. You cannot speak for women. You cannot say this lie. It's a lie, Darnell. When you say, it's some women out there want to be treated like a princess. You're not no woman. I've never heard a woman say that.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
Okay,
and I have a sister
Darnell.
I'm sorry, I'm frustrated with Darnell.
Okay, let me interject for a second. Darnell, I have two sisters, right? And, grew up and they're older than me. So I've known them for a very long time. Let's just put it that way, right? And I never once heard them say, I want to be treated like a princess.
I have one.
Okay, that's part one. Part two is me and you've heard it. You've heard the manosphere. You hear how they call me old. Well, that just means that I've been on this earth a lot longer than them, right?
Yeah.
And I think about all the women that I have been in relationships with, right? And even just women I just met. And I think about it, I never heard them say they want to be treated like a princess too. They want to be treated good.
See, not to interrupt you, Torch, you know what the good is? I'm a woman. I'm going to tell you what women think when we say treat us good. We want you to be thoughtful. We want you to be considerate. We want you to be clean. We want you to pick up after yourself. We want you to be in the store and just think about us and call us and say, hey, you want something out the store? We want you to make love to us. That's what we want.
So, ma'am, do you believe I'm abusive in any way, shape, or form?
She never said that.
No,
I'm not going to engage in circle talk with you, Darnell.
I'm not circle
I'm telling you, when a woman tells you, treat me good, I'm telling you, women, this is what women want. We want you to sit down. I can come in the house and give you a massage real quick and you appreciate it. We want you to appreciate our feminine energy around you.
Okay, Darnell, why did you go to the abuse thing? What brought that up?
Because
I just wanted to ask her a question.
But it didn't have anything to do with it didn't have anything to do with her statement.
It wasn't that particular statement, sir.
Repeat. Okay, do me a favor. Repeat what you just asked her.
I believe, if I remember my exact words correctly, I believe it was, do you believe that I am abusive?
Why in the world would you ask somebody who does not know you that question? And in fact, Darnell, for your own benefit, you do not want to ask anyone that question, especially when and the only person you should ask that to, is a therapist or somebody with therapeutic training. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, I understand.
Okay.
I just wanted her honest opinion, that's all.
No, you don't want to ask, you don't ask people. See, I can understand her concern with some things. That's just not a question you bring up. That's not what you broach to somebody who doesn't know you at all. I think you're thinking that she follows you around the internet, something, watching what you do every step. And even if somebody did, wait, Darnell, let me finish. Even if somebody did, they still don't know you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's very important. This is a very important, because let me make it clear. I'm not mad at you or anything for asking that question. I'm just trying to give you game that's just nothing you want to bring up.
Yeah. And because he cannot engage with a woman talking verbally or physically, these men run to these fairy tale narratives like high value men. That's fairy tale. That's TV. Traditional modern women. That's a fairy tale. That's not reality of day-to-day people. So because they lack so much emotional intelligence, they lack so much girth, they lack so much courage that they go and jump to this, jump to that. He jumped to abuse. He jumped to this. He jumped into this because they are lacking.
I just asked a simple question.
And my issue with Darnell is he circle talk. That circle talk. See, my grandmother told me long time ago, rest in peace, her soul. She said, girl, don't believe no man who talk too much and talk too fast.
Well, I don't believe I talk fast, but as far as the circle talk, Ma'am, I asked you a direct question, and it's you that refused to answer the question.
Darnell, to clear it up again, for your own sake, not hers.
No, it's fine.
Wait, no,
It's fine.
Darnell, let me finish.
Yes, sir.
You don't ask anybody no, I want you to actually ask the question again that you asked again, just to make sure that I don't pine the word.
Torch, he asked that question because I told him the woman's definition of getting treated good. What did I say? Thoughtful.
Right.
I named a number of things, and he comes back with, "Do you think I'm abusive?"
Well, that wasn't necessarily the case. It was, you claim, first of all, that I talk in circles. Second,
You do?
I disagree, but I'll play devil's advocate with you. Second, you also said that, when I had mentioned about my children, about children coming first before my wife and myself, I happen to notice that you claim that I don't care. I wouldn't care about the woman, but myself, even when I mentioned myself, you ignored that.
No,
we didn't ignore it. Well, Darnell, the reason why I'm up, because DJ asked you a simple question as, what are you looking for in a relationship? This is a question you ask on a first date. And if I was sitting at the dinner table with you, Darnell, and you said your family lineage, I would get up and walk away.
Well, that would be your prerogative, ma'am.
No, that
you didn't say.
Wait.
You didn't say you want a woman who appreciates you. You want a woman that will consider you. You didn't say nothing like that.
Wait, Darnell, she's giving you some good game right here, bro. And I'll tell you why. One of the reasons you started coming on these shows, including Kendra G's, was because you said that you had trouble with women. She is pointing out to a very, very glaring issue you have. This is if you want to be. See, the thing is this is you're debating her on not only what she wants, but most women want. Mm-hmm. They don't want a guy who's going to talk about their lineage on the first date. Especially, wait, let me put it better than that. Okay. Not about your lineage on the first date, but it's the first thing that comes up when she asks you what you want in a relationship and you say lineage. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that if that's what you have been telling these women on the first date, that is one of your core issues you have, not only by what you said to them, but your mindset that goes with it. Do you see my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I understand you might find it disturbing, but the thing is that the woman is going to, if she's, believe it or not, when a woman is in a relationship with you, mm-hmm. they will tell you, you come first. So what you're saying is that you can't reply the same. Because remember now, the kids have to be in a loving, the kids benefit most not from having two parents, but from having two loving parents. Does that make any sense to you at all?
Yes, sir. But are you implying that because my children would come first, that I would not be a loving?
And that's my issue. That's my issue. They are not seeing the woman. This is why this country got 4.6. They are not seeing the woman.
Basically, what you're doing is you're counting your money before you start your job. That's. I know this sounds weird, but what I'm saying is this: is that what it sounds like to me is like this. The way you treat your woman, your kids are more important than the way you treat your woman. Even though the way you treat your woman will be the way that your woman will nurture your kids, and that the way that your kids will be growing up in a positive environment. Okay? But the thing is that, again, how did you get to your lineage before you got to how you were going to get to your lineage? Do you see what I'm saying? You have to get to your lineage first. If you keep turning women off, you ain't going to have no lineage.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize for cutting you off.
Yeah, you know, the issue is they have premeditated thoughts already before they approach a woman. They're sick in the mind. These men are sick in the head.
I think
this
we
is
all
why
have
this country. This is why this country is 4.6 hours that a black woman is unalived in this country by a man of color. Because they don't see us as humans.
Ma'am, may I?
Darnell don't see the woman as human.
No, please.
And
please
this
don't
is
put
a
words in my mouth.
foundational problem with this ideology.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Please don't put words in my mouth. Okay, that's not.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
that's
wait.
not
Hold on one second. Hold on one second, Darnell.
I never said that.
I think that the simplest form I could put this in is you're putting the cart before the horse. Does that do you remember that saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the cart are your kids. Okay. Now, the woman is far from being a horse. That is far from it. But the old saying is this. What I'm saying is this, is that you should be focused on making your woman happy so that she makes you happy, so that when you have kids, your kids are happy. Because obviously it sounds like to me, and from what you've told us or what you've insinuated, you grew up not the way you would want to grow up. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I grew up around parents that threw money. Well, my mom, she walked out when I was 5, and I lived with my dad, and
okay.
He threw money. I mean, well, I ain't gonna say threw money away, but he wasn't good
with money. Okay.
No.
Okay. So basically, what you want to make sure that the core to your family was as happy as they can personally be. That everything was, that you make life good for them so they can make life good for you, right?
No, sir. Basically, I want to make life good for them, so that way when they begin their journey in life, that they don't have to struggle.
No, wait.
You hear what he's saying? I. There's no we. There's no him and his wife. There's no him and his woman. There's no him and his baby mama.
That wasn't the question. I never said. I didn't say I. Okay. DJ Torch asked me a question, and I said no. I disagree with that. This is what I believe in: is that I just want to make sure that my children can go to college without being, tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Okay. How did you get to college?
Circle talk.
Okay,
that's
wait.
not circle talk, ma'am. That's just common sense. But
No. We're talking. See, the reason why these platforms are booming, because there's a fundamental problem between men and women. That is the core problem. And I'm telling you that men's problem is that you do not see the woman.
You think that's what the problem is?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
No, ma'am. I humbly disagree with that.
When a man asks you, what are you looking for in a relationship? You said children. You don't value women. You don't see women.
You don't. No, you keep saying that, but that's not
because
true.
listen. I've been listening to you circle talk for too long, Darnell, and enough is enough.
No, ma'am. You're jumping to conclusions.
I am not.
Ma'am, you are.
I'll tell you what. Wait, Darnell, hold on one second. Let's let Antonio talk for a minute. Antonio, what are your thoughts so far?
Hola, DJ. It's me.
It's good.
I just changed my little name to Antonio Garcia Hernandez.
I like it.
Thank you. I don't know, man. I just think it's weird, the whole thing. I mean, I've always been taught because, I'm old school, millennial, raised by baby boomer parents. I've always been taught, the golden rule, treat others as you'd like to be treated. The problem is I heard a lot of mainstream advice when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Especially during the pandemic, I was getting rejected left and right. It seems like it was hard, and they keep saying this thing: if you treat a woman like, if you don't treat her with respect, she'll like you. All this stuff, like if you treat the way you want to be treated, treat her nicer, she can put you in the friend zone. All this kind of stuff, and I almost fell into it, hook, line, and sinker, because there was a time I was really had my heart and soul into this woman at my other job. She was cool. We vibe, but she was, in a bad marriage and whatnot. So I kind of think, maybe if I'm, stay by her side and whatnot, maybe might have a chance together. But it didn't work out, and then we ended off. I quit talking to her. I was frustrated, and I was like, man, look for another chick. Oh, I got a boyfriend. Another one say, oh, Anthony, I'm not interested in you romantically. And I was like, man, what am I doing wrong? And that's when at that point I just kind of went to the YouTube streets and almost bought the advice that, if you're not too nice to ladies, they would you got to make them work for you and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, fortunately, I never practiced it at all because that stuff was just bull crap.
You listened to red pill content, didn't you?
For a little bit at that point, because I was just lost. I guess because I'm from Texas and I just moved to California. I'm like, maybe people from California are different than Texas people. I was like, maybe that's the missing piece or whatever. I mean, I'm treating them nicely, and I was like, what the hell? Still friends? I get ghosted. I'm like, I never mentioned nothing nasty. I was like, hey, how's your day going? And then ghosted. I'm like, man, it's just at that point, it's like, man, I was lost.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
You ever heard that Michael Jackson song, Man in the Mirror?
Yes.
So before you had your experiences, can you honestly say that you were what type of man were you before those experiences?
I was just myself. Treat people nicely, respectful, hardworking.
No. I'm saying, I'm not talking about outside, anything outside. I'm talking about within yourself, within your human body. What type of man were you, honestly?
Pretty much it. I gave the answer.
So you wasn't selfish. You wasn't self-centered. You wasn't all the other negative attributes.
Nope, not at all. I mean,
it doesn't make sense, because as a woman, I understood that in order for you to be around good people, you have to be what you want.
Cyber Dreams, that's your name, right? Cyber Dreams?
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, may I ask you, in your humble opinion, as a woman, is there such a thing as a bad woman, or a woman that's just maybe toxic, perhaps?
Southern Belle, you really like to insult me, don't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. I'd like to get some shout outs out real quick. Shout outs to Heathen Queen in the house, Indiana Mom in the house, Miss RV in the house, Camel's in the house, LaQuinto Fox is in the house, Sutton Bell is in the house, You Can't Get Laid is in the house. We have LM in the house. We have Brina in the house. We have Creative Solutions in the house, Prisms in the house. Okay, that's all I can get out right now. Okay, go ahead.
See, what I've been realizing that the competition between men and women is both of us are trying to prove that we have thick skin. We're both trying to prove that, okay, you ain't gonna get one up on me. Instead of just appreciating being around another human person. That is the core problem.
Okay.
We're trying to finesse each other.
Okay. If you say so.
All right, let's play a little bit more. In fact, let's move forward. I want to play this man right here.
What's up, guys? My name is Dr. Antonio Webb. I'm an orthopedic spine surgeon here in San Antonio, Texas. And today, you guys are going to be hanging out with me for a day in the life of a spine surgeon. Let's get it. All right, so it's about 9:30 in the morning. It's not a typical day for me as a spine surgeon, but last night we had some late cases. I didn't finish my surgeries until like 10 p.m. Got home about 11:30, got into bed around 12, woke up at 4:30. So, and then back at it again this morning. I had to go around and see patients, which means in the hospital, see my surgical patients, see how they were doing, try to discharge them if possible. And we had a board meeting also kind of following that. The board meeting is essentially when we, as partners, I'm a partner in my private practice, we get together and discuss kind of some strategic plans for our group and practice. So now we're heading to the airport. I have a flight to catch, which leaves or boards in about an hour or so, hour and a half. We're heading to Charleston, South Carolina. I was invited to speak to a group of surgeons at a roundtable event about social media and practice building, and also just getting together and discuss some surgical cases, spine-related cases. So it should be a good trip. We're going to head to the airport and then head to Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah, his production's on point.
Just got to the airport. I got like 12 minutes before I have to jump on a Zoom call. I'm actually talking to some high school students that want to go into the medical field. And these students have all read my book and just meeting with them to answer some questions. So. Yeah, that's a great question. So each step along this process, you're going to have to modify the way you study, the way you approach certain subjects and concepts in classes. So what works for one class in college may not work for the next class, or what works in college may not work for medical school and residency and fellowship. So a lot of repetition. You have to be very disciplined and organized. I spent 8 years in the military, and that's where I got that rigid structure from. My day is very organized. I know exactly what I'm going to accomplish for the day. I know exactly what needs to be done. I have a schedule that I follow. I knew this was at 10:15 a.m. I had to.
This is the point I'm making with this spine surgeon. Obviously high value. Do you notice how disciplined he is? Do you notice how professional he is, how refined he is, and how much he's helping other people?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Okay.
But value is in the.
What do you know who this man is?
No, sir.
How do you not know somebody like this more than you know Kevin Samuels?
I've just never seen him before. This is the first time.
How did that happen?
I'm guessing the YouTube algorithm. I'm guessing.
Okay, I guess the point I'm trying to make is this, which is important that you mentioned the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
This man is much more accomplished than Kevin Samuels. He has a skill that makes him extremely valuable, and even more valuable being an African-American male. Mm-hmm. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He is high value. But you can notice by his schedule, he's not even thinking about women, because his schedule is about building and helping others build. Do you see how he hasn't said anything about, oh yeah, I got these women, you got to manipulate them, nothing like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can learn more from him You can learn more from him than you ever could from Kevin Samuels, just by watching his videos. Did you hear what he said about the military? Was he right or was he right?
No, he was right.
So he is using that military structure to be a success. You guys are about the same age, right?
I don't know. I'm 36. How old is he?
Okay. I don't think he said, but he looks in his mid-30s to me.
Okay.
Let's listen a little bit more. This is very important because, see, the thing is this. My point has always been that I think there is a black male role model is very important. It can make or break you, even at your age, Darnell. The problem is that when you choose the wrong role model, you get the wrong results. Even if you think you chose the right role models. Does that make any sense to you?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay.
I was in surgery last night until 10:30 p.m. I got home around 12 midnight. I woke up at 4:30. I went to the hospital at 6 a.m. I went to a meeting at 8 to 9:30, and I drove to the airport. And I have you guys, and I'm about to jump on the flight. Like, I enjoy going to work. I love going to work because I love operating and I love surgery. And but it is hard to stay motivated. You have to find some balance also. Things outside of medicine that interest you. And those things kind of keep you motivated.
Okay, let me stop it right there. Darnell, I got one question and I'm going to turn it over to Cyber and Antonio. What are your passions in life?
Mine is I want to be a pilot.
You said my passions in life?
Yes.
To be honest with you, sir, I think my passions have died long ago. I don't have any passions anymore, to be honest with you.
There you go. I am no doctor and I'm no therapist, but I can tell you that that's what you're, before you can even get to your lineage, you have to find out what your passions in life are. And if you don't have any, you need to find something that you're passionate about. The one thing that most women find very attractive about a man when he is passionate about something. You understand what I'm saying? Not like drugs or passionate about something nefarious, something that puts a twinkle in your eye. Do you understand what I'm saying? For this gentleman right here, he loves what he's doing. He loves being a surgeon. Cyber, helping me out here. What do you think? Do you have any ideas what Darnell should do as far as finding these passions? He sounds like he needs to build some things mentally. What do you think?
I think he should get rid of his resentment for his mother walking out on him.
Why did you just bring why do you assume I have resentment towards my mother? That's not true.
Because you made a statement. My mother left. You told DJ prior to this conversation that you didn't grow up like you wanted to, right? And then you goes on and give us some details about it and say your mother walked out. That's like back in your subconscious mind. It might not be in your conscious mind, but it's in your subconscious mind.
No, ma'am.
And I had to do the same thing. I had a little resentment with my parents as well, growing up in LA and stuff like that. You know what they were doing back then. But I think that's it. And then love yourself more. And just be honest and treat people good.
Well,
treat a woman good.
Well, to be honest with you, ma'am, like I said, I harbor no resentment towards my mother. In fact, I stayed with her for 10 months. Her husband that she had an affair with died about.
So let me ask you, Darnell, the little boy at 5, will he say the same thing now? Would that little boy say, "I don't have no resentment"?
Well, a 5-year-old boy is obviously going to have different feelings. But
what about a 10-year-old Darnell? Would he say the same thing?
Probably not. But again, as a grown man.
What about a 15-year-old Darnell? Would he say the same thing you just said?
possibly. You know, now you're getting older, so.
No, I'm trying to understand your deflection right now.
I'm not deflecting
Because,
anything.
listen, honestly, no one wants their parents to walk out. Come on, miss me with the circle talk, Darnell.
I'm not circle talking, man. My mom.
No one wants a parent to walk out on them. No one. Not a rich person, not a poor person. No one wants that.
She did.
But my passion is Torch. I got a great idea for a documentary, Torch, and I used to write music. I used to write for people, raps and stuff like that. And I got out of the secular industry a long time ago, you know. And my passion is to try to get enough courage to actually finish some of the projects that I started. That's one of my passions.
That is too cool. That is too cool. I know where you're coming from. I have a lot of half-finished music beats.
Yeah, you know.
Projects on my computer right now. I'm feeling bad about. So I know where you're coming from.
Yeah, I started writing 2 books, and then Priscilla beat me to the punch with her book. And I had a similar idea like years ago, you know. But it's all good.
Hey, look, why don't we work on making that happen then? Okay.
Yeah, I think the documentary is going to be great. I honestly, I've been studying on the women's suffrage movement, and I want to debunk. I sent the message to Prism too. I want to debunk all this feminist talk that these men are. I have to debunk it because what they're saying about the feminist movement is not true.
So I agree. Okay, to the stage.
So do you understand? Am I like all over the place, Torch? Do you understand where I'm trying to get at with Darnell?
Yeah, basically, I think what it is Darnell has. I think, quite honestly, I don't think he means the circle talk. I think it's just his defense. His defense, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense? You know,
yeah.
He's naturally defense. That's why he's puzzled every time you say, "Why are you circle talking?" And he says, "What do you mean?" It's because I think he's been used. At least my opinion. Darnell, this is just my opinion. I think he's just been used to doing this for who knows how long. It might be since childhood, for all we know. You know.
You know, my definition of circle talk, DJ, is they respond with the end of their response from the beginning. Circle talk.
Got it. That's a good saying.
DJ Torch, do you believe I circle talk? What is your honest opinion?
I think sometimes yes. I was going to call it something different, but really, the way that Cyber explains it, I do. What it is that it seems like you defensively. You defensively answer questions.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Which sometimes and she's right. I could see her. She's right. It's circle talk because you kind of like ending this. I don't know. It's weird, but what she said makes a lot of sense.
He's beginning his opening statement with the end of his statement.
Exactly. Okay.
Circle talk.
Yeah. Can you give an example?
Wait, hold on one second. Let's let Creative chat for a second. Creative, welcome to the stage. Welcome to the stage, Prism, as well.
Hey, I just wanted to say, so this is the first video I see that you playing with something positive outside of the craziness. But this is a good video. This guy's a high value, and you can tell like how focused he is on his own life, on his own achievements, on things that he wants for himself. And you can see if you just focus on yourself and you pour energy into yourself, like it will reflect on your outside world. It will reflect on how you show up, the way you speak, how confident you are, everything. Because the way he goes about his life, he's like top tier. Like, you know, you can't come to him with any nonsense or any, you know, I would say fuckery. You can't come to him with that. You got to come correct or don't come at all. And he gives respect and he receives it. So I just wanted to point that out. So was it Darnell? So Darnell, if you just focus on yourself and the things that you want to achieve, and in no time you could be like almost mirror him.
Okay, creative. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why don't they gravitate towards a man like this?
You know why? Because it's too much hard work. It's hard work, accountability, and they always wanna. They're weak to their lower natures. They're so weak to their lower natures, their lower thought forms of sex, of eating food, of playing games, of doing all of the things that doesn't require discipline.
I agree. Prism, how about you? What are you thinking?
Are you're asking me why they don't focus on men like this?
Yes.
Because that's not who's in their sphere of influence. I think that if you don't have those type of men around you to connect with regularly in your real life, I think that it's almost impossible to have a genuine, like I think Darnell shows up on a lot of different panels because I really feel like Darnell's really just trying to connect the dots for his own personal life. And I honestly like Cyber Dreams has like been dropping jewels, and I don't think, and because I think he's not understanding what she's saying, it's coming across like she's being harsh, but what she's trying to do is kind of like she's like trying to sound an alarm for you. And like one of the gems that she gave you was that that what the red pill content is doing, it's basically telling men how to circumvent like disappointments within relationships. And you cannot circumvent life. You are going to be disappointed. You are going to be hurt. That's kind of part of the life of like when people get together in relationship and get to know each other, you're going to be disappointed. There is no way around that. So the guys like this, they don't have that type of circle of men to be around DJ Torch to kind of say, hey brother, you need to level up, or hey, man, like let's go do this. He doesn't have that type of circle of influence. And also, when Cyber Dreams, another gem that she dropped. So Darnell, let me say this because I need you to understand. I mean, and I don't I don't know if you're trying to deflect or maybe it has not really registered to you. But if you were wounded by your mother walking out at 5 years old, that rejection has definitely lived in you. And because of that rejection, you found that also in relationships with other women. And every time that you come into this space with these guys, it only reinforces you bringing that 5-year-old boy back in and trying to find his place and trying to understand the woman who left you rather than the woman that you need to be with. Because every woman is not like your mom. And you said my mom, after her, the man that she cheated on my father for, that was very prominent in your statement. It was like the red flag over your life. With the man that she cheated on my dad for. That was very pronounced in your statement. So what I'm saying to you is that you're bringing that 5-year-old boy into this space every time. You can't help it. If you're not healed, you can't help it. You cannot help but bring that person there. So I don't know, if like I know Cyber Dreams, like she's a straight shooter. I mean, she's not going to come any other way, and that's kind of like the women I prefer to deal with, because I think those type of women are very rare nowadays, rather than those cutthroat women that we have a lot in this space, who claim to be BWE but will hang you in a minute for a man. So I think she's really trying to help you. She's not trying to hurt you. Because she would have just gone ahead and cussed you out because she squared off on that LA style. Let me tell you, she's not trying to hurt you. She would have just told you how she feel about you and left the panel. But I really think that she's trying to help you engage the parts of your mind with your emotions. Did I say that well? Cyber?
Yeah. I want to apologize. I did come off kind of harsh, but I've been listening to Darnell Circle Talk for months now. Just thank you, Prison, for articulated, better for me. I'm like in the grocery store right now, so I'm gonna go on mute.
Yeah, so
because I'm busy.
Okay, I understand. So I don't really, other than that, Darnell, I think you're a nice dude. I really do. I don't think there's I just think that Darnell, get the hell out of the space.
Which space, ma'am?
All of them. Take a break.
Including this space?
Darnell, everybody needs a break. Like there's a black woman called that she was a divestment page, okay? And after last year, she deleted her page and walked away. She's not doing any more divestment content at all. And she did it for her peace of mind, because she went on all the panels with black men and all this other stuff, talking to them, because I don't think she really had a hate for black men. She didn't. But because they feel like there's a certain way you have to be divested, they always try to attack her that way. Yeah. So I think that sister left because she was honestly tired of it. And Darnell, she's not going to do that type of content anymore. She's moved on to something that she really enjoys. And I think that you need to disengage from the red pill, passport bro, all these panels, and maybe indulge in something a little bit more positive. Seem like you're a type of spiritual type person. What is wrong with you finding something more spiritual for yourself to I don't care if you're going outside, connecting with the mountains, the trees, the grass, the roots, whatever it is. But you need something other than this. See, because everybody does not have the fortitude to kind of stand on their own in this space. Let me say, I don't give a damn about nobody in this space. And I don't mean that in a way where I'm not concerned about people, but I'm not concerned about people enough where I know it's going to affect my outside life. It's not going to affect the core of who I am inside. They can't do that to me because they didn't build me. They have not built anything around me. They're not my family. These people don't love you. They don't care about you. The people who love you and care about you are the people in your household. These people have made it a space where people don't even feel comfortable to come to the panel and talk to people anymore because they've almost kind of made people afraid to come to his panel now because they don't want us to have any conversations. But damn them. You're not going to control what I say. You're not going to put me in a clique. You're not going to put me in a corner either. You're not going to bully. You're not going to harass me, nor anybody else while I'm in this space. But Darnell, real talk, I do think you need to take a break from this space because it's eating you alive. Because I think the whole person, the essence of who you are in your soul, this stuff right here is not it. Because over there talking about doxing people's information, going overseas to other women for them to clean up your pain, those women are going to become objects of your pain. You cannot make a healthy relationship if you're not healthy. We just saw that black man where that Asian woman just called him fat and ugly. But y'all over here, they over here telling y'all that y'all the most desired men all around the world. And these women are telling you, no, you're not. We had another brother just come out talking about his Asian woman in America he bought here, 9 years ago? Green card time is over. She don't need him anymore. Cheating on him with 2 or 3 different men that he knows of. It's not going to safeguard you. Even if you stay over there, it's not going to safeguard you from the person that you are.
Yes, to be honest with you, ma'am, and this is just my humble opinion.
We're about the same age.
I'm sorry?
We're almost the same age, Darnell. Like, you don't have to call me ma'am. Like, we're almost the same age, Darnell.
Yes, I apologize. I'm very formal and respectful.
And that's fine. That's not, I don't have a problem with that. But you can just call me Prism. We cool.
Okay, Prism. So, to be honest with you, and this is just my opinion, not that it's in, and I know I'm going to get lambasted for this, but my opinion is that white men are more sought after than black men. Let's just face it. They make more money. There's colorism.
But you know something?
Go ahead.
If that's the fact, that's the facts. The reality, we have to live in the parameters of the reality of life. That's not going to change. But the reality is, guess what? Every time you hear black men say white men are this, white men are that, no, but you know something? we almost making this amount of money with white men. If we're not this, what they go always have a pushback about that. So it's always going to be some sort of teeter-totter back and forth. And I'm telling you to get the hell off the teeter-totter.
Yeah.
I need you to erase what they say, because it has not stopped black men from having black women. Black women are still getting together for some reason, even though white men might be on top of the totem pole. For some reason, they still get in love. Because I know a whole bunch of people around me that are black and they have black marriages. And I know a whole bunch of people around me who are black and have interracial marriages. And they're not thinking about anybody in this space. They don't even care. They're living their life and raising their family and loving one another and going on vacation. And they like each other. They like each other. My friend likes her husband. So what I'm saying is, Darnell, Creative, I'm sorry, I want you to leave. I just want you to get out of this space. I want you to. I do. I want you to leave this space.
This type of space with women, or the manosphere space?
I'm not saying forever, Darnell, but I think you need to take a time to know Darnell.
No, I understand that, ma'am. But are you saying, should I leave this space in particular, or should I leave the manosphere? That's what I just wanted to make.
No, I'm not saying, because I don't have the right to tell you to leave DJ Torch's page. You're welcome, I guess, as far as DJ Torch and everybody else concerned. You're welcome here. That's not anything anybody's saying, but I'm just saying, like, all the spaces that you go into, I just think you need to give yourself a break. It's okay not to log in. It's okay not to listen to them for a week or a month or 6 months. It's okay. It's okay. Darnell, if you want to go overseas and find yourself somebody, have you started learning about that culture? Have you started learning the language? Have you started learning about their families? Have you started learning about their food? There's a billion things that you could be doing and thinking about to enhance yourself, like a workout regimen. How about learning to love yourself a little bit more? How about speaking love to yourself rather than disappointment because you see what's going on in this space? How about stop talking to yourself about, well, they said, well, this is what they say. And none of those men who are talking what they say, none of them bastards are happy. I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm not trying to take over Torch's show. I just feel like, I'm trying to help you as much as I can help you in this situation. I just don't think, I think you need to give it a break, brother. I really do. I do.
Yeah, no, I understand, ma'am. In fact, to be honest with you, I have kind of given the manosphere or the red pill a break. To be honest with you, I stopped watching Donovan Sharp, for example. I'm sorry, but there's some things that came out that suggest he might be a fraud.
They're all frauds. Kevin Samuels was the pastor of Jim Jones of this. He was the Jim Jones of this generation. He was feeding y'all. He was feeding y'all a bunch of bullshit and making y'all drink poison Kool-Aid. And you guys all drank that stuff, and now women are even further away from you than ever because of that garbage. And nobody and women are, and now women are decentering from men, which means you guys, now the conversation is going even further away from each other. Because every time there is an action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. Men should expect that every time.
Yep.
Like, you can't come into a space and tell women that you either do this, and that, or we leaving. And guess what? Before you had even said that stuff, women were already leaving. 10 million women went to South Korea in 2019.
I didn't know that.
You think they're going to have a birth crisis soon if black women keep going over there? No. Because they booed up over there. Black women are moving everywhere. Because if you tell somebody long enough, I don't want you and I don't care about you, guess what they're going to do? They're going to leave you. Nobody is going to submit to people who are abusing them. No one. That's not real submission. Real submission is free given. It does not flourish under abusive, tyrannical type of leadership. So I don't know. I wanted to give you my 10 cent worth, whatever it worth is to you. So hey, creative, can you come back to the stage because I'm getting ready to drop.
Well, before you drop, ma'am, I apologize, ma'am. Before you drop, I just wanted to say I do appreciate your input.
You're welcome, but I think, Darnell, I think you need to give yourself a space. I do. I think if you're not designed to deal with crap from these people, they're going to run you out of here. And they're not going to run me out of here. I don't think they know, because I have a daddy and I don't retreat from anybody. I don't leave until I'm ready to leave. I'm not going to leave because you think I need to leave. So anyway, Torch, thank you so much, because, I like Darnell a whole lot. I think he's a real nice guy. I do, and I just don't think that I see you writing down stuff a lot. This is my last thought. I see you writing down things a lot, but I think you need to discover why you are in this space and why you are internalizing conversations that are outside of you that are not benefiting your life. So with that being said, peace out. Thanks, Priya.
Thank you, Prism.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Prism.
Thank you.
I'm going to play a little bit more of this video here. Let's check out what the doctor's up to, and then we'll talk some more.
Pushing along. All right, so we just got done speaking to the high school students that are interested in medicine. Those students read my book and they reached out to see if I would speak to the students this morning. They had a lot of great questions about the path to
This is Dr. Antonio Webb, MD.
Medicine, and also the permanent doctor. So we're about to go board the flight now and head to South Carolina. All right, so we just got to Charleston, South Carolina. About to head to the hotel now, and this evening we have a dinner event to discuss some topics in spine surgery. There are about 25 spine surgeons that will be here at this meeting, and should be a good meeting. So we're going to head to the hotel now.
1 second. Cyber says, I was harsh. I didn't curse. No, Cyber, I think Darnell can agree too that some of the spaces that I've seen Darnell get pretty chopped up over there at Razor's room, and pretty chopped up at some other spaces as well. So, no. No, I think some people that came in started saying that we were being hard on Darnell, but I've seen some people. We might be hard on you, Darnell, but we're trying to be constructive as well. While other people, like, I'm still disgusted about that old man who was dissing you about your service. I'm still upset right now to this day. Up there, over there in Razor's room.
Yes, I remember the incident very well. Like I said, I'm not offended. Like I said, we're just having discussion. That's all this is. This is just discussion. This isn't name calling. This isn't,
right.
We may have differences of opinion, but this is the only way we can bridge the gap.
Good, well said. I just thought what that dude did, that was just upsetting to me. Just put it that way.
Yes, it was. But to be fair, my own behavior, was not good either. So.
Well, you didn't start the bad behavior, but they sure ended it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let me play a little bit more of this.
All right, guys, so just got done with the conference this evening. Great lecture by one of my former staff from Fellowship who talked about ALIFs, or anterior lumbar antibody fusions, when we fuse the patient's spine from the front, and also disc replacements from the front. So that kind of concludes our evening. Tomorrow we have a really long day. We're doing a cadaver lab. We're having some lectures. I'll be giving a lecture about social media and spine surgery, and looking forward to it. So I'm gonna get some rest. Catch you guys tomorrow.
How did the Manosphere, how did they miss such a high value person like this? I mean, we will never know how he is in his personal life, though. I'm going to look into his videos more. But how is he not even considered? How are they picking, Anton Daniels over this guy? How are they picking Sotomayor over this guy? How are they picking Kevin Samuels over this guy? How are they picking Obsidian over this guy? How are they doing that? How is it that those guys are representing the Manosphere and not a gentleman like this? I mean, not like he has time, but you see my point.
They're more entertaining. It's kind of like I hate to use a former president, but Donald Trump, for example. I mean, you just look at him. He was not your typical run-of-the-mill politician, right? He was very entertaining.
So do you believe it's just like American society? We're more focused on entertainers than we are people that actually have value to America?
Yes, sir. I believe that wholeheartedly. I know it's bad.
I think for entertainment wise, yeah, but if you look on the ratio, because I was looking at this also, if you look on the ratio of how many views and subscribers some of these really these doctors, they have more views and more subscribers. So it depends on what audience are you trying to attract.
That's true.
Yeah, so I really don't think so. If you want to swim in the bad pond, I mean, you're gonna have a pond. But if you wanna go to the ocean where it's like plenty, there's more positive and there's different frequencies, I think you'll be better off there than being really in a small pond and only spewing the same topics over and over. It gets, after a while, this Manosphere stuff is gonna get boring too, because people are gonna get sick of hearing it. It's from the same people who never changed their life, who still not married, still not being a positive example in their kids' lives. Nobody's gonna want to listen to them after a while anymore either.
Very well said.
That's true, ma'am. But like, I don't know if you heard this though, but like recently, Donald Trump right now, former President Donald Trump, he's leading the polls in the Republican Party right now for the nomination. Even though this man has been indicted, you know, it's clear he has mishandled confidential information, tried to steal an election, et cetera, and yet people still like him. And what I'm saying is, when it comes to the manosphere, I kind of think the same thing. You know, case in point, Andrew Tate, for example. And even I have been called out, you know, by saying, you know, I believe that Andrew Tate is guilty of human trafficking. You know, I mean, people have called me out, called me an Andrew Tate hater. I don't hate Andrew Tate, but
let me ask you a question. If you had a daughter, would you allow your daughter to date Andrew Tate?
No, ma'am, I wouldn't. Well,
Okay,
I mean,
so that just answered your question right there.
Well, how old would my daughter be before I say that?
If you had so you would consider, even if your daughter was between the ages of 18 to 35, you would say yes based on his track record?
I would advise her against it, but I can't tell a grown woman what to do.
Nobody said that. I said, would you? Is that something that you would say yes to? That's what I asked you. I never asked you about what she said.
I wouldn't say yes. I would not say yes. No.
Okay, so that would be a complete no, right? You would go against it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. But again, like I said, if she told me, look, if she told me I'm doing this, even though I would advise her against it, you know, I can't tell a grown person.
I think it's the wrong comparisons. He just getting a lot of views because he has lots of money, and that's where a lot of these men, they want to have lots of money because they want to have all the women, but they do not have the high value presence as this guy in the video has. This doctor, they don't have that. Like, this doctor is influencing people. He's like helping, you know, people in college who want to become doctors. He's holding conferences. He's getting up early in the morning, and he's making sure he executes his day. A lot of those, they're not about that. They want to argue with women online. Like, nobody, like, that's not what grown men do. Okay, that's all I gotta say. And you can't compare them to Donald Trump. Even though Donald Trump has done some bad things, you know, and questionable things, during his presidency, he did do a lot of good things also. Some things that went against the grain, and then people were like, "Oh, we finally got somebody, you know, who got the guts to do this." So I think that's you can't. That's a wrong argument to compare Donald Trump to this.
I'm comparing Donald Trump to, you know, the manosphere. Like I said, we all know Donald Trump has skeletons in his closet. He's done some wrong things, and similar to the manosphere. Because the question earlier was, you know, why do people listen to the manosphere? And all I was saying is it's entertaining. You know, it's not
I agree with you with that. But I feel like it's a small pond of people who's watching it and listening to it. It's a small pond. Like, I think this guy has how many subscribers? I don't know. It's too small. But there's doctors on YouTube that has over 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
So it depends on who you're watching and who's your audience.
Indiana Mom asked a very good question. She said, would you prefer, would you be happy if your daughter dated Andrew Tate or the surgeon?
I would have to say the surgeon. I mean, my opinion, Andrew Tate is this is just my opinion, but Andrew Tate is a human trafficker.
That's common sense. Anybody with common sense, like we just asked that question, there's a lot of people who went to college, who have life experience, who understand what is a better choice and what they should subscribe to and watch also.
Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, we all make mistakes too, man. You know, Lord knows I'm guilty of making my fair share.
All right, let me spin this. Let me spin this real quick. Here we go.
When it comes to what we're looking for in men, we're often looking for a man who has good genetics, meaning we think that he's cute, we think that he's hot, maybe we think that he's sexy, and a guy who can provide parental investment, so more so provisioning. This is disputed. You guys can dispute it if you want. But when women get the baby rabies and they got to scramble to get a guy to marry them, or they're just so high anxiety that they would prefer a more demure man who is controllable because you can't control masculine men.
Wait. Why is she talking in such a masculine way? I don't know. Let me just go on to the next one. I don't even want to comment on that. Let's go to this one.
Men preferred visual pornography, but females preferred literary pornography. And they found the classic literary pornography plot, which was something like, relatively innocent but undervalued and attractive but not so obviously attractive young woman stumbles across this sort of commanding man who has many women.
Okay, I'm gonna let him keep going, but I'm a little lost here. Here we go.
At his disposal, and over time, despite his relatively high levels of aggression, he finds himself attracted to this woman and then forms a sexual relationship with her. It's a Beauty and the Beast plot, essentially. But one of the things that's so interesting about their analysis was they listed the top 5 occupations or characters for female sexual literature. And they were pirate, surgeon, billionaire, vampire, and pilot. And so those are all males who I would say are marked by, oh no, not pilot, werewolf. Werewolf was the 5th one. And so I think it reflects to some degree this conundrum that women have. It's because women have to pick a man who has the capacity for aggression, enough of the capacity for aggression to protect himself and others and to move out into the world against a fair bit of opposition, but who's also simultaneously empathic or perhaps conscientious enough to be caring and share. And you can imagine that's a real knife edge, right? Because you need a...
Brigitte, what are your thoughts on what he just said?
Listen, I used to like Jordan Peterson, and that was before he came out. So then somebody had a video and they turned the spotlight on him and they went in on him. So basically he used to be like really major red pill. And then he tried to shift and he started to heal himself, but he still reverts back to the red pill ideology in some context. Because Dude, you hear what he just said? He said a pirate. A pirate. Yeah. What woman is going after a pirate? Like
I know. At least.
And then he said women watch porn. They prefer porn. Oh my God.
What is
I think he was talking about a different type of porn. Like more, what do you call it? Erotic novel type porn. Kind of like 50 Shades of Grey, for example.
I say women likes romance. They like somebody who's going, to kiss them, who holds their body, who loves them, and who cherishes their body. They don't just want ravaged sex, like two dogs having sex. They want somebody who cares, who's compassionate, who takes care of them while they're having sex, who cares about their body and their pleasure, and who values that. They don't want anybody who's gonna go in there and do like 10 minutes. It's like, how they say you want to make it last. So basically, you want to build that up. So that's what women care about. They like the deep, passionate kissing and all that stuff.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, you're correct. The only thing though, I have a question for you. Like, why was movies like 50 Shades of Grey so popular? Like I said, it wasn't men going to go watch that. That was women, and all it was.
It was a book first.
Yes, it was a book first. Correct. But when the movie came out, though, I mean, it had to have been women in droves. I mean, men weren't.
So that book and that movie, as you always see, is just like what is it? what is it that, like, I forgot the movie. I think it was That Girl or something like that. Anyway, it's always like the nerdy girl that nobody looks at, that nobody, talks to, and she doesn't have the self-confidence. And then all of a sudden she turns around and somebody notices her. And that's what a lot of women, we all like the fantasy. We all want to be married. We all want to be in like loving relationships. We want somebody to value and cherish us. So when we see these movies, like he's willing to do all these things for her, we like stuff like that.
Yeah, but like the very first movie, for example, and I'm pretty sure I never read the novel, but I'm sure the novel is probably even a lot more. But like in the movie, for example, the very first one anyway, it was about a man basically dominating a woman, beating her. I mean, granted, it was consensual.
It wasn't about him beating her. Oh my God! See, you don't understand the you just think about the sexual part of the movie. That's what you're referring to.
Okay, well, enlighten me.
I mean, that all of that is going on a rabbit hole, and maybe she was probably curious about it, but the simple fact was that they really liked each other. So if you like somebody, you are willing to bend the rules, or bend their rules, or play their game.
But even in that movie, she didn't feel like he cared about her, for a minute, right? She momentarily contemplated leaving the guy.
Yeah, but he proved to her that he did care about her.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch the movie?
Not the whole thing. I ain't gonna lie, I fell asleep.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I tried watching it. I fell asleep like 2 or 3 times trying to watch it.
Yeah, so it's a fantasy. Like women, we like fantasy with happy endings and real love, and not somebody who just no offense, not somebody who's gonna go sleep with everybody, and then it doesn't make that person special if you just slept with the whole block. You know what I mean? It's not really special.
Okay. And then, what was the name of that HBO series? Because Jordan Peterson mentioned werewolves and vampires. True Blood. That's the name. True Blood.
True Blood was I love True Blood. That was a really good series.
Yep. I mean, I liked the first couple seasons, but it kind of basically became softcore porn. Like, the last few seasons became softcore prawn. But yeah, the first couple seasons, I mean, it was interesting at first, but the point is, like I said, again, that was another series that women, tuned into.
Yeah, True Blood was good because I like True Blood because it was talking about vampires, magic, and all that other stuff. So that's why I watched it.
Yeah.
And it was a love triangle also.
Yeah, love triangle. But yeah, I mean, you got to admit, like I said, the main protagonist, she got, she was basically used by the men, or the vampires, I should say. And she was basically used by the vampires, Bill and Eric. She was basically used, and it comes to life.
Yeah, but she loved them also. That was a whole love triangle. But I still love that show. I used to watch it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I did too. Like I said, the first couple seasons, I agree with you. The first few seasons, then it started, Yeah,
it went downturn.
Yes,
it's almost like The Witcher right now. The first season was good, and then afterwards, we like, what happened?
Yep. Exactly.
All right, let me play a little bit more of Jordan, and then we'll go on to the next video.
A bit of a monster in your man, let's say, to keep the real monsters away, but you don't want so much monster so that a relationship is impossible. And so then you could also imagine that there's overshoot on both sides of that target, so that some men become too aggressive but can appear attractive in the short term because they have the confidence associated with that. And some men become too
By the way, it was Camo who turned me on to Jordan Peterson.
agreeable, and so they look easy to get along with and so forth, but they can't put themselves forward and stand up for themselves. And so be another explanation for the potential emergence of, say, sadism and psychopathy is that there's this narrow target for, especially for men to hit, doesn't account for female psychopathy, but for men to hit, and it's easy to overshoot in either direction. And there's going to be variability in women's choice as well.
Yeah, one of the issues that underlies my work in connection with clinical psychology, which you're the expert in and I'm not, I try to stick to so-called subclinical levels. In other words, student bodies or workers. These are people who are managing to get along in everyday society, and they're available in large numbers, so you can take surveys and try to tease apart the various aspects of the dark side. But I'm very reticent to venture to the clinical side. And I think that's been a source of criticism of me from clinical psychologists, that I'm touching on areas that really belong to them and do not belong to me because I'm not a clinician. So when we get into sexual sadism and criminal sadism.
Hey, what are they talking about? Hey, I'm lost.
Me too. I'm confused.
Look, I'm sure. Let's go on to another video. I probably could understand if I worked a little bit harder, but I don't want to. I think this one was funny.
My laptop screen lit up my face as tears streamed down my cheeks. Standing between me and the chance of recovering after getting brutally dumped by my girlfriend was a choice. Do I simply just try and battle through the pain? Or do I look for help? With no clear strategy.
Bro, you like that abstract shit. What do you think they would say?
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
Oh, okay. I didn't really hear the context.
Okay.
But I've watched a lot of Dr. Peterson. I love the guy. I think he's one of the, we're gonna look back and he's one of the intellectuals of today, and he's controversial, for different reasons, and anyone who actually is listened to him or read any of his work, when you finally do, you're like, wait a minute, this is the guy they're mad at. So I know they weren't on no bullshit, and usually when he talks to people, it's usually some other just smart as hell dude, and even if you disagree with them, or even if you disagree with the point Peterson's making, the conversation's always dope. What were they talking about? What was the overall
I
subject?
think it had something to do with attraction. It says here, let me go back on it for a minute.
Because I've heard Dr. Peterson talk about male and female dynamics and stuff like that before, and I think he put it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, so you like him? You know what? He's good when it comes to telling men how to get on par and become better. But I think he falls short when he talks about women. The conversation.
How convenient.
No, for real. He had a conversation about women in the workplace.
Most of his students are women, right?
He had a conversation about women in the workplace, and he started opening his mouth, and then the red pill ideology came out, and he talked about women wearing makeup in the workspace and how women shouldn't wear makeup. And I was just sitting there women should not wear makeup.
Is that what he explicitly said?
Yes, he did.
Did he say that it was his opinion?
That it came from his mouth. Who did an expose? I think it was Hassan.
Again, honestly, I would still have to see the context.
Hassan exposes him all the time.
Wait, Hassan Parker?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, do better with your news sources. Hassan, that champagne socialist douchebag piece of, oh please. No, Hassan is entertaining. No doubt, but Hassan is trash.
And
I don't come on the platform and say a lot of people are trash. I'll say I disagree with him before. No, he is trash.
But he did a whole video on him, like a couple of videos on him.
Because he did a couple videos on him, that means Hassan is trash. I'm sorry. I strongly disagree. Yeah, he
I still like him. I think he's cute. Anyway.
Let me get on Spro's nerves for a minute and play this video.
Oh yeah,
The
please.
newcomers in this community. Now, what that means is you probably don't know the full extent of my political ideology. You probably don't know the full extent of my politics. And Jordan Peterson is the kind of dude who has been able to so successfully hide himself as a liberal. Now, Jordan Peterson is not a liberal. I don't give a how much you try to say he's a liberal. You go to a Turning Point USA conference and you speak as a conservative speaker at the Turning Point USA conference alongside the likes of Tucker Carlson and numerous other people, then you're not a liberal. You are literally a conservative. But a lot of people are new to politics, or they feel like Jordan Peterson maybe helped them, because Jordan Peterson does do regular self-help. Self-help is a grift overall, but oftentimes targeting the most vulnerable people, ripe for exploitation. And Jordan Peterson certainly filled that vote.
Okay, so Spro, what is it that bothers you about Hassan?
Like in general, or just like from that clip? I mean, he was just giving his opinion about Dr. Peterson.
Just why?
I think that he's disingenuous. And again, I'm not saying like not everyone's going to agree with me. I'm not going to align with everyone politically. But like, I think for no matter what ideology or opinion you have, I feel like there is a dark side to it. And I'm not saying like Hassan is like the evil, because there have been times where like he said stuff, or like there were certain conversations going on and he knew to not, he was like, oh no, I ain't, nah, I'm not touching that. So like, I'll give it that. But like, I don't think he's genuine. I think which is crazy because I've heard him call a lot of people reactionaries. I think that's exactly what he is. And people like him, bread tubers in general, they're like really interesting, like anomalies and contradictions. They take hypocrite to infinity and beyond, and it is interesting and again very entertaining. And I'm not saying every single thing that he said I would say is wrong, but generally speaking, and you can use generalizations in some cases for things. Generally speaking, in my opinion, I do not like him. I think he's disingenuous. I think even though it would appear that he stands for things that, seem nice, that, especially like in public eye, I think that I don't think that he actually feels that way. I think he's a chameleon. I think he is a grifter, but again, doesn't know it. I think the worst grifters that we have nowadays believe half of their nonsense. I think he just said, he's just fake. At least to me, that's just like, that's just my opinion.
If you could compare him to somebody maybe more well-known in the Black Manosphere, who would you compare him to?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know any black.
So if we're talking Manosphere to, like, as far as politics, so let's Hassan would be politics. Manosphere is that philosophy. He would be. Don't worry. I'm not. If you want to keep moving on, we can. I'm thinking about it. I need a second.
Okay, got it.
That's a tough one. DJ Torch, you threw him a curveball, man.
Because honestly, I think it's because they're two different. Like, I think because I'm like, oh, like politically, and then I'm like, like red pill, philosophy, basically. Because they're different. Like, I mean, you could make some kind of comparison, but I feel like it still wouldn't line up. The first thing that kind of popped in my head was Myron. However, I still don't think it's like that. Honestly, I would have to combine several people from the Manosphere to get Hassan.
Okay.
I mean, but even then, like I said, Myron is conservative. A lot of Black Manosphere men are conservative.
Yeah, but that's not how we're categorizing them. We're categorizing as far as like the space and like what they quote seem to specialize in and what they spend the majority of their time. So like Hassan would be, political commentary, and then red pill stuff is red pill stuff. So like even if Hassan may have some quote red pill views, or the red pill guys may be quote conservative or liberal or whatever. But because of DJ's question, like it's just that, yeah, you can't really compare them like that. So just because it doesn't mean that Hassan, because a lot of the red pill views, because a lot of the men and women stuff have become political, even though it really shouldn't be. A lot of people who are more liberal, left leaning, are going to be against, anything coming from the red pill or the manosphere, just period. The fact that women seem to, because I don't know, have a problem with a lot of that commentary and the negative stuff that also comes from it. I could see people like Hassan not knowing or doing his research, even though he's in these YouTube streets, but like he really doesn't. It's the same thing like when I come on these panels and I see someone talking about something, I'm like, yo, yeah, bull is trash. However, it's not what you think. Like you're saying this, and that, and it's actually this, and this. He's still trash, but you have to have context. You have to understand and know, again, your enemy and know what you're talking about.
Okay,
Hassan
let me let Creative get some opinions in on her thoughts of Hassan. Go ahead, Creative.
Oh, so I really like Hassan. Being from his type of demographic, it kind of gets a little bit touchy when he talks on other races. And that's what kind of like people start to like pull the draw on him and go in on him because he can only talk from his perspective. But he does really good videos. He labeled things out. He called things out. He goes in, and he's really funny. And he's a comedian. He eats while he's on live. I really like the guy. I don't really have anything bad against him. I think he does really good content.
Okay.
Yeah, he's entertaining, like no doubt. Like he's a good content creator, like at the craft and like what it is. Like, yeah, he's good. Obviously, I mean, he's up there. I mean, his cousin is Jank or whatever. I'm sure that helped out.
Oh, okay. So that's okay. So
did you not know that? Did you not know that?
I didn't know they were cousins. I knew.
Yes, they're cousins. They're related. You see what I'm saying now?
Oh, okay. I thought.
I'm not gonna lie, Anna's been growing on me, but like I think they trash too. But get this. I think they're ignorant. Hassan is aware. And that's why I think he's scummy. You can kind of tell he's more aware. Jank and them like they really. Richie? Huh?
What's his name? He does.
I have not watched that shit in years. I'm so serious. I see clips here and there. I don't know what's going on or who's over there. I do not know. And there was a time when I would watch it, and it was like because it was the news, and it was like, oh yeah, and they get into it. They went to and get this. Even if they went far to the conservative side, if it was the same energy, the way they're doing it, it would still be cringe. So it's not even just because of like where they align politically. If they were doing things disingenuously the way that they've been doing it, I don't care what opinion you want. It's disingenuous. It's trash. And Hassan is he is up there. He's like him and like oh my god, all these Ethan used to be so freaking
when they
cool.
say an innocent man got shot by the police or something, and then they show a clip that shows the guy saying hi, hello, and then the police shooting him. Then that's disingenuous or what?
Just because Hassan talks about stuff that, like, again, it's deeper than that, and that's what people like him do. Yeah, they pick the stories and they give the popular opinion. And again, it's not that the popular opinion is wrong all the time. I'm not saying that, but like he's a scumbag.
Are they trash because you just disagree with their ideology, or are they trash?
It's the energy, because honestly, so like I think there was a time. I've been going through all kinds of different pills the past like 4 or 5 years, right?
Okay.
And my thoughts have been changing, and I have a better idea, especially now. I think becoming a father really kind of like put it all into perspective. Because remember, I used to be into the red pill stuff, and then especially in 2020, because I used to not care about politics at all, and then 2020 shattered everything that I thought, and I started thinking a type of way, and it seemed like I was going down this kind of Republican rabbit hole, but I never adopted it or claimed it. And I didn't go, like, as far as political stuff, I didn't go down that end, but like I was opening my mind to more commentators or like views and stuff that I didn't before. And then when it came to news stories, like I have Ground News, which is a great app. gives you all the news from all the political perspectives. So I'll read all the major stories from different points of view, and like I have an idea where I am. I am a lot more old-fashioned and traditional. However, for the most part, I recognize the rules of the land that I live in. So even if it's something personal that I disagree with, because we're in a democracy, I'm open to compromise, but the compromise has to be logical. And even if it doesn't favor my side, or even if it does favor my side, if it's the most logical thing that makes sense in compromise, considering the people of where you are, that's what we need to strive for. We are past that point. There was a time when we kind of used to do it. We're not doing it anymore. I think it's going to get worse.
The days of Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan are over.
Yeah, but who's to say that those were good days either? You see what I'm saying? So like you could go like, just because you disagree. So like, I'm not gonna lie, I hate the woke shit. I can't stand it for multiple reasons.
Why don't
right?
you define woke? Because before, back in the day, at least from when I was growing up, woke just simply meant enlightened, and that was it.
Yeah, and this I am aware of, but for the sake of the conversation, I think we all know when I say like quote woke, like things like the whole left and right thing. It would appear as though
I mean the gentrified version of woke. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. For the sake of the conversation, there are people who honestly used to like classic liberals. Like that's why Jordan Peterson, he's just fucking old and he's Canadian. So yeah, he is like what a liberal used to be. Things have changed though. And he's still walking around. That's why he's confused. Like he's Canadian. He's all nice. Even asshole Canadians are nice. Like he's confused because he's older. He's also a psychologist. And a lot of the things that we're doing now, it's kind of what I was saying. Like the problem between men and women is just because we're in a progressive society. That's not a bad thing to be progressive, but eventually you do hit walls. And then people keep, instead of like kind of just being like, oh, I think we're actually fine. We can kind of coast, and we'll address the little problems as they come up. We're trying to overcorrect things that really don't need to be corrected, and it's clashing. So for someone like JP, and again, I'm not saying I agree with every single point. I think for the most part, because he's a psychologist. Like he doesn't know how to analyze. So he's looking at human behavior as we understand it and as we know it, and it's conflicting with a lot of things. And that's why he kind of seems to piss off people on both sides of the political spectrum. Because what people on both sides of the political spectrum don't want to realize is that we are human, which is kind of the same problem that we're having with men and women. Men don't want to understand that women are a certain way, and the women don't want to understand that men are a certain way, and no one's willing to compromise. And we live in a democracy as well, so that's why we're having the political problems that we're having.
Okay, let me play this video. Hold on.
For battle insights, I decided to give the internet a chance. And that was when I came across a series of videos that would transform the way I would carry myself moving forward. What does the term top 1% man mean? Your intuition might tell you that it's the men in the top 1% of financial success, but that isn't the entire story. A new trend has emerged within the self-improvement, manosphere, and red pill space, where a creator will give a set of points that young men have to hit in order to be considered a top 1% man. On the one hand, I think it's great that there's a space online that is helping men.
I have to say, it seems like to me that Caucasian men take the red pill space less seriously than African American men.
No, they take it just as serious.
You think so?
Yeah. I think it's different for us because like we're in the Black community, and I've mentioned this before. The Black Manosphere and the White Manosphere are the same. The only difference is our cultural differences. You're going to get different results, but it's for the same reasons that they say men are the way they are and women are the way that they are.
It just seems like, I don't know, at least from what I see, like Obsidians and all these guys, they put in a whole lot of energy on demeaning women. And though I do see from time to time that in the other spaces, I won't just say Caucasian, but other spaces, the mainstream, let's put it that way, it doesn't seem like they go in on their women as hard. What do you think?
He said that he'll be right back in the chat.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay. Let me play more of this.
To improve themselves and
therefore. No, wait a minute. Creative, what are your thoughts? Have you bounced over to to the Caucasian or non-Black?
I went over that space. They seem like they're even more worse. They want these men to go in to go by themselves and go live in a camp and distract from the world. And I don't know. I think they both take it serious, and I think But I think they both take it serious. I can't even say which is worse. So
Would you say though that the white manosphere are better? They're more articulate or able to articulate their words a lot better than the black manosphere?
I would say they don't have as much hate content, but we're not in that space to find it, to be honest. So I don't know. You know what, we can't. You know what? There's some white men on the spaces, and they not really that articulate either. So I can't sit here and say which is which. I'm just being honest.
Okay, fair enough.
For the lives of those they surround themselves with. In fact, you could kind of consider me part of this space too. But my issue with this idea is the fact that for a lot of men who adopt these traits, the opposite of the desired effect ends up happening. They end up regressing mentally, physically, and spiritually instead of progressing. And I want to explain to you why I think that is, and why we need to completely restructure the idea of the top 1% man entirely. As I scrolled through these videos for the first time, still holding the thoughts of what went wrong with my relationship to lead it to its eventual end, I felt completely lost. The lack of direction I got from my parents, peers, and just all of society really on how I was supposed to handle difficult times. And
Here's the weird thing to me. If you really want to figure out what happened in your relationship and you initially don't know, this is a perfect opportunity to go to a therapist. All you got to do is tell a therapist exactly what happened, and they're going to tell you what happened. So that's why I really feel it's funny to me that these guys fight therapy sometimes, because that's all these people do all day is figure things out. And if you can't figure it out, why wouldn't you go?
I don't think it's the kind of thing, not that it's a bad idea. And I think nowadays people are a lot more open to it, even men. But I think typically, actually, not even for men. I think for women too. I think a lot of people, for some, they feel like there's a stigma with it. Maybe they don't want to admit that there's something wrong. A lot of people maybe have trouble opening up. I think especially men, in some areas. And I don't think to the extent that a lot of people think that men do, but just, I think it could be harder. So I as far as like them not seeking therapy first, not only that, but like health insurance, like, I think it's multiple reasons.
I was gonna say, okay. I feel like when you leave a relationship, why not go back, or if you guys split up, go back to the person and ask them, what happened, what went wrong. I'm not sure, what could I have done better, or what made you come to this conclusion.
I think that's
and I
too
think
much.
what you said.
You're never going to
doing
get
too much.
I don't think I think I almost agree. Oh my God, I think I agree with Spro a little bit. Oh my God,
You're not gonna get the
no. The thing is that sometimes both parties don't know why it ended or why they feel the way they feel, because usually it's because somebody's feelings changed for the other person. Now, obviously not in a good way, but again, it's usually, believe it or not, if nobody goes to if nobody goes to therapy, that at least talk to an enlightened, maybe not woke, but in an enlightened third party, somebody who knows about relationships. But really it's best, because the thing is this, a lot of people think that therapists don't know what you mean or what you're talking about, but they can figure you out a lot quicker than you can figure yourself out if you initially don't know why things went wrong. You'd be surprised.
I disagree, because I feel like the two people who were in the relationship will know what happened or what went wrong.
Yeah, so why do you have to go back to them and ask like, hey, what happened?
For your own self-growth, because they
Your own self-growth.
experienced
You just said you both know. Sometimes it's obvious. It's like,
no,
why?
I would give an example. So I would know what he did, or what sometimes is me and sometimes it's the other person,
But see, creative, this is where a therapist comes in. You have to find out, the guy might have been lying to you. The guy might have been trying to manipulate you or whatever. And if you explain what you're asking, what you want to, if you pretended the therapist was like your ex, they could tell you exactly what your ex was thinking and what they were doing. They can tell you the pathology of your ex. They can tell you whether the person was just trying to use you or the person you truly did break that person's heart somehow and they didn't know how to fix it.
Actually, a really good doctor will, just from your report and getting to know you, will be able to tell what things you're saying about him are exaggerations and what things are true.
And that as well.
Yeah.
And that as well. I mean, I swear, I don't know, but I can only speak from experience, but I remember I went to one doctor and they said, okay, I was in the middle of a relationship, right? I said, I told this woman, the doctor, about this situation. She says, when you go back, this is what she's going to say. She's going to say this, this, and this. And by golly, that's exactly what, the person I was dating said. So
what?
Yeah, exactly. She said, look, this is what's going to happen. Because what I would do is sit down, right? Explain to the doctor what was going on, right? The best I could. Because you can never explain it perfectly, right? Then she has said, how do you feel? I explained how I felt. Then the doctor would say, okay, this is how I feel about your situation. But if you're going to stay in the situation, this is what's going to happen next. I would go back and to almost literally like 90%, that's exactly what happened next. That's what freaking exactly happened next. Or like I explained the situation, right? And she wouldn't say the person was cheating, right? She would just say the person is emotionally involved with somebody else. I'd go back, nail. Perfect. It's like,
I need
I'm
your
sorry,
doctor
I'm
then.
involved with somebody. Like, what? A minute, what? So I'm telling you, if you really want to know what's going on with yourself or the situation you are in, because you're taught when you get therapy, you're taught to only look at people as a situation. You see what I'm saying? What I mean is that you don't want to be mean to the people because people are the way they are because of the way they are. You see what I'm saying? You have to view a person like, okay, do I care about the person, but is this a good situation for me?
Yeah.
Instead of like, wow, I love this person so much. I gotta ride or die with this person because, I love them so much, when that's really the worst way you could think.
Well, love is a choice anyway. So like when people say that, like I understand and get it, but like
I sort of see where you're coming from, but not really, no.
No, because what if you really like that person? They make you feel good and you guys do things together.
Oh, well, no, love can definitely generate. Feelings definitely come, are there with love, but love is a choice, like just based off of like what I guess I would say the definition of love, because, believe it or not, I feel like you can define it. It's pretty easy.
To me, it's no different than a hit of dopamine. That's all love is.
No, that's lust.
It can give you dopamine, but
Right.
love
to me, see, a hit of dopamine is temporary. That's
Yeah.
lust. Love is something that I can't say any other words. It could fuck up your life. If you truly love somebody, that could fuck up your life. That's not dopamine. That's basically you've established whether they're justified or not, true feelings for somebody.
I mean,
love is simply easily defined as it's when you put someone else's needs before yours. Period.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can agree with that.
Without a doubt. Like, so that's why I say like, it is a choice. Again, now it can be hard to not make that choice, and feelings are with it. But I think sometimes we do need to realize, like, and I think like, even with like, again, I'm not crapping on therapy, but sometimes like you're going to go to it there after a while, the fourth time you go to your therapist in like 2-3 years talking about like, oh, I had another breakup, you're going to be mad and be like, I need to switch therapists, because your doctor, a good one, is going to tell you that you're the problem. I guarantee you.
No, No. Nope.
Oh,
Why you
come
say
on.
no? Because
No, let's be real. I would never want to lie to people I care about. Look,
I kind of agree with
sometimes
him on this.
sometimes with our like people's relationship issues, like especially like nowadays, that's all I hear about. Like it's just on and on and on. And get this, I don't care if it's a man, I don't care if it's a woman. Whenever someone's talking to me, I'm like, yo, you're lying. And you don't even know it. Like sometimes, like it's like people are so like it's always the other person. It's always the other person. Sometimes it is. Sometimes, like, but like it really does take two to tango. And like I think like what are the odds that like if my man's is like, oh, this girl's like, yo, bro, you think it's a weird coincidence that all your girlfriends are terrible? Like all your girlfriends cheat on you, all your girlfriends, talk
Right.
crazy to you, every single one, but it's them, right? Women are trash, right? And it's the same
Good
thing for the
point.
sisters.
Good
Every
argument.
single bull. Oh, like all these men cheat. Do they? Do they really?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like I'm so over it. You go into a therapist every single time, like maybe you just shouldn't date. Like chill. Just chill. Sometimes you don't need a therapist.
No,
Sometimes you
that's
just need
you're
to
you're
rock
you're
out.
absolutely right. A doctor will tell you to chill. You were not supposed to go from one relationship to another, really. People do though. But you're supposed to take time to reflect and understand. That's why that theory that the cleanup woman or the what was it, the rubber band man, or the
Man.
where you go to you somebody breaks up with somebody and then they go to the next person, and that next relationship is never supposed to work out, which it rarely does, and because you really didn't get over the prior one before. But anyway, I'm going to end this live because it's been 3 hours. Everybody's getting sleepy, including me. I think Spro, I think I got your last word. So Creative, you got a last couple words.
Based on all of this relationship talk and therapist, I don't know. I find that self-reflecting after the relationship is really good. In some cases, I feel like I don't necessarily need a therapist, but I agree with DJ Torch. While you're in the relationship and you don't think it's going the best way, and you feel like that person is lying or something, it's always good to have a second opinion. So yeah, that's my ending words.
Sounds good.
Wait, I did wanted to say one more thing. I was gonna say no, forget it. Let's continue.
You sure?
I I was gonna say about Darnell. How everybody was hopping on Darnell. I mean, I think Darnell got the message. And then I was gonna say, this kind of reminded me, like, when everybody's like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. I'm just like, in some cases it's good, in other cases, a lot of people, they just don't want to hear all of that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not really empowering. That's all I wanted to say.
That sounds good. Darnell, how about you?
Yeah, so just to say, one of the things I will say about therapy, I'll try to touch on it real quick, but basically, you also do have to be careful. Like a lot of people like to throw the words "you need therapy" out. When they were insulting somebody, they like to throw the word.
Yeah, you're right. They use it in a derogatory reference.
Yeah. And I've seen it a lot, and unfortunately, my opinion, it's being used. I mean, you just have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, do you actually need therapy? Or, is what somebody's saying, is it true, or are they just trying to, be disrespectful towards you? So
this is my opinion on that. I agree with you, but believe it or not, I enjoy therapy. I think
nothing wrong with it.
I mean, think about it like this: people are giving these people $100 super chats, right? The non-experts, by the way. Okay.
Yep.
$100 super chats, right? That's about if you, number one, therapist, if you have a copay, it's probably only $20, right? To get real help. Okay. And if you're paying cash, it's about $100 and $150. Why would you want to give somebody a $100 super chat that knows nothing about really what they're talking about except for entertaining you, right?
Yeah.
Instead of getting real help.
Well, I'll be honest with you, especially in the Black community, we have a hard time. First of all, seeking medical treatment. Period. We have a hard time, but especially when it comes to therapy, you know, kind of reminds me of a Dave Chappelle skit. You know, trading spouses on the Chappelle show, trading spouses, where you know Dave Chappelle lives with a white family, right? You know, and she decides to take him to therapy and stuff like that. And he goes, for the record, I ain't crazy. And then he goes, I am crazy, you know, because, you know, the truth is Black people, we don't, a lot of times, you know, when we need help, a lot of times we don't want to acknowledge we need help, you know.
No, that's well said. Very well said.
Well, and, you know, and that's definitely an issue in our community. But I also wanted to say this about therapists, therapy or mental health. You know, if you study the origins of it, it was actually used, believe it or not, as a tool to kind of hold down women. You know, a lot of men were cheating on their wives and having affairs, and women would, you know, they knew about it, and, you know, but they would get upset. You know, back then women could, you know, it wasn't, you know, back in the 50s, it wasn't like it is today, where a woman can go out and make her own way in the world and, you know, leave her husband. Back then she was stuck with him. You know, she got divorced. I mean, yeah, she got some alimony, but, you know, pretty much she was stuck. And a lot of times, these doctors were using, you know, basically, I mean, if you ever watch the show Mad Men, they kind of hit on that, where, you know, the main character's wife, or one of the character's wife, wants to divorce her husband, and he's sitting up there talking to the doctor behind her back. You know, so therapy.
I'm not sure. I'm not following you.
So years ago, therapy was or mental health was used as a way of holding down women. You know, of keeping women down.
I mean, I mean, I don't know. I haven't run across that. But where did you read it? Yeah. I'll look into it.
That was years ago. Like I said, that was years ago. Like I said, when you had men that cheated on their spouses, for example, then you had an angry, you know, a woman, she knew about it, but she was upset, and she, you know, talked to somebody, and they was like, oh, you know, and then they started prescribing medication, you know, to women. These women, there was nothing wrong with the women. It was just, you know, they were in a bad situation, and, you know, the therapist said, oh yeah, it's your fault. You know, you're just overthinking, you're overcomplicating. You know, so that's why I just want to say you do have to kind of be careful. Basically, find you a good therapist.
Wait, you talking about like in Mad Men when Don Draper paid his? Yeah, but that's like a show. I mean, I'm sure that's happened before, but
it's based. But it's
as you were describing, I was like, that sounds like that episode of Mad Men.
Yeah. It's actually based on a true story. It's actually based. Well, loosely.
Mad Men is not based off of a true story.
Yeah, it's loosely based on a true story.
It's based off of the advertisement business on Madison Avenue in the 60s through 70s, but that's about it.
You're right. I mean, like I said, it's not. The characters in the show aren't. They're all, the characters are all fictional, of course. But what I'm saying is
the things that they do would be.
I'm
fictional.
going to bed.
All right. Okay. Good night, y'all.
You know.